Hello, welcome to the Christmas edition of Kelly's Roadhouse, the Sweet Valley Recap podcast. I'm Paula and I'm here with Rich.
Hello.
This fortnight is our Christmas special and we have read one of my favourite Sweet Valley books of all time.
I had never read it, obviously. That's kind of the thing of this podcast. But it is now.
It's Special Christmas.
And it is now my favourite Sweet Valley High book. It's amazing.
So far.
So far, of course, obviously.
I'd say it's in my top 5. It's not my absolute favourite.
Oh, I know what your absolute favourite is. And that's a long way off before I get to read that one. But this one so far has topped all the other Sweet Valley books. So I'm excited to talk about it.
It's got no question on the front.
No, well, I have a lot of questions after reading it. But yeah.
However, on the back, it says, "Deck the halls of Sweet Valley High. The Wakefield twins and their friends at Sweet Valley High are in festive spirits. It's Christmas vacation, the annual parade is just days away, Secret Santas are busy buying surprise gifts, and everyone's talking about the holiday dance at the Patman's mansion. Jessica Wakefield is determined to be named Miss Christmas Time, and Elizabeth is counting the days until she's reunited with her faraway boyfriend Todd Wilkins. It seems nothing can spoil Jessica and Elizabeth's holiday until Mr. and Mrs. Wakefield announce the arrival of an unwelcome house guest. Now it looks as though this might be the worst Christmas ever."
Will it be the worst Christmas ever? What is a Secret Santa? Let's find out.
So just to point out, we have gone about 6 books ahead of schedule to do this.
Yes.
And what we've missed is Todd going away.
Yeah, so I guess if in a couple of books' time, I will actually get to the point where Todd goes away, but we've skipped ahead. We're getting like a little glimpse into the future.
So in this book, he's gone away and he's come back to visit for Christmas vacation.
There's something else as well.
Oh boy, there is.
Something else that's changed, which I noticed as we were reading.
Something else has changed.
Enid is dating someone else.
Yeah. So it looks
that
like
was
Enid
new.
and George have split.
You didn't tell me about that one because you forewarned me that Todd, things had changed with Todd. I didn't know about Enid, and I read that. I was like, ooh. But we'll get to that. There's a lot to get into in this book.
So we open in Mr. Collins' English class. Nobody's doing much work because it's the day before Christmas vacation.
Even Mr. Collins is complaining about doing English. He's like, "Oh, teachers shouldn't have to do classes on the last day of school." It's like, I'm pretty sure that's what he paid for, man. But cool.
And that afternoon, there's some kind of Christmas party in the gym.
Yes, it's the Secret Santa / it's like a party, and they're also going to do the Secret Santa hat pull. I guess you pull your name out of a hat, don't you?
So we get the description of Mr. Collins, blonde with blue eyes, with little wrinkles around the corner of his eyes when he smiled. Some of the girls insisted he looked like a movie star, but that wasn't the reason he won the best teacher year after year. Yeah, sure, it's not.
It's because he keeps turning up to everyone's parties and like random getaways.
Well, apparently he was an excellent sport who knew when to be stern and when to relax.
Yes, but he doesn't know when not to turn up to kids' things. Kind of creepy, Mr. Collins.
John Pfeiffer throws a wad of paper at the back of Elizabeth's neck.
Yes, and actually hits her, and she says, "Ow."
It's a bit of paper.
Yeah, I know. She makes a big deal out of it.
Yeah, calm down. It's actually a note. It says, "Liz, be my Secret Santa. Love, John."
Yeah. Now, apparently Liz is used to this kind of behaviour from John. So she kind of takes it as a joke. But Mr. Collins tells him to settle down.
Yeah, so we're told that Elizabeth's helping Mr. Collins to assign Secret Santas to everyone later.
Yes.
He'd singled her out to help because she'd apparently become very close to him lately.
Yeah.
Some might say a bit too close.
Well, you might say a little too close.
They have a bit of a weird relationship, in my opinion.
Well, it's okay. Well, it's not okay.
She tells him stuff she doesn't tell her boyfriend.
Well, yeah, and as we will find out, the relationship with Todd is bizarre at this point. So, I guess if she wants to be inappropriate with her teacher, she can be.
But Elizabeth's in a good mood because Todd's coming home for a visit in 3 days' time.
Yeah.
So we've missed him moving to Vermont, and they're currently having a long-distance relationship.
Yeah.
But she's worried that they may have grown apart. I'm not sure how long he's meant to have been gone for at this point.
I'm assuming it's like been a week.
Couple of months, I don't know. Mr. Collins tells them all that they can finish 10 minutes early and head to the gym.
What a treat. 10
Yeah.
whole minutes? Oh my goodness. Like they were doing no work anyway. John Pfeiffer's like throwing paper around.
And Jessica comes over to Elizabeth. We get the usual twins description. Slender, 5'6", blue-green eyes. But today, there's something different about them.
There is something very bizarre about Elizabeth and Jessica, because I think for the first time since I've been reading Sweet Valley High, they're dressed the same.
Yeah, they're wearing matching outfits. Navy cotton skirts and light blue short sleeve sweaters. Plus their lavaliers, of course.
I love that Olivia is like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
You're both dressed the same. You're clearly up to something bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, you're clearly trying to trick someone or do something awful.
But Jessica has spotted her latest target.
Oh, yeah.
A tall blonde boy who we're going to learn more about later.
We are indeed.
So she runs off to stalk him, and she leaves Elizabeth to explain their outfits to Olivia.
Yes, they are going to be getting their picture taken by Hunt's Photography, and it's going to be a gift to their parents for Christmas.
Yeah, how conceited.
It's pretty conceited. Imagine if, like,
have a
this
picture
Christmas,
of
I was
me.
like, oh, hey, Paula, I got your Christmas present. It's a picture of me.
And Olivia also tells Elizabeth that the tall blonde boy is Hans, who's the
Yes.
new exchange student from Germany.
Mm-hmm.
His English isn't very good, but she's sure Jessica won't care about that.
No, lads, that's going to make no difference. No barrier to Jessica.
And they've chosen the outfits they were wearing because they're similar to outfits they wore in a portrait they had done when they were kids.
Yes, yeah. So it's
They're
meant to
trying
be like
sort
a
of recreate
cute.
it.
Yeah, it's like a cute, like, hey, like 14 years later or something, you know.
14.
Well, I'm
Oh,
assuming if they were like 2 or something
Yeah,
when they
actually.
had the little dresses or whatever,
Yeah.
and now they're like recreating it as
Yeah.
older kids.
Mr. Collins comes over and he tells Liz they need to start on Secret Santa because the natives are getting restless.
Yes, so this is all going down in the sports hall.
So the Sweet Valley High Secret Santa lasts a whole week.
It's also bizarre because in this country, if you do Secret Santa, you go through. And by the way, this book acts like no one knows what Secret Santa is. It's really weird.
Well, no one knows what their version is.
No.
It's
So
different.
over here, and maybe it's different over there, you do one gift, right? So you have like a limit on the money. You're like, okay, it's £5, $5, whatever. And you give your gift to someone, and it's secret as to who's given it to you. You don't know, and you just pull a name out of a hat. But it's always one gift. In this, it's like multiple gifts over multiple days, and
not
it
just
keeps
gifts,
going.
it's also they do things for each other as well.
They do some things, yes.
So yeah, they spend the whole week doing that.
This is like pulling bloody straws again, isn't it? It's like things that people in Sweet Valley just don't understand.
Mm-hmm. And then at the Christmas dance, the stroke of midnight, everyone reveals who they had.
Yes. And the dance this year is going to be a special dance.
Yeah, it's going to be held at the Patman's mansion.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bit weird. I think it'd be in the school gym or something.
I was
but-
thinking that, like, a school party at someone's house is a bit weird.
Yeah. I guess Mr. Patman's feeling charitable.
Yeah, and I imagine they donate a lot to the school, so whatever they want probably
Yeah.
goes, to be honest.
So Liz's amazing responsibility that she's been singled out to do
Is not even a job you really need to do.
is holding a basket and letting everyone pick a name out of it.
That's it, yeah. And it's like, well, anyone could have done that.
But she's happy to do it because she's sat in the ideal place for observing people.
Oh, yeah, well, you know, she is a reporter after all.
And the gym's looking nice and festive with red and green streamers, boughs of holly everywhere. Jessica appears with Hans by her side and pointedly tells Elizabeth that she needs to pick a Secret Santa. And it's obvious that she wants Liz to somehow fix it so she ends up with Hans.
Yeah, but it's like, how would she know? Like, how would she
Yeah, there's
do
nothing
this?
Liz can do.
Like, it's like, literally, she cannot make this happen, Jess.
No. So she just hands in the basket. And Hans doesn't seem to understand the word secret because he immediately tells Elizabeth who he got straight away.
Yeah.
He got Lila. Elizabeth knows Jessica's going to be furious about this.
Yeah, because, of course, you know, Jess and Lila have you know, they're quote-unquote best friends, although I think at this point...
Frenemies.
Frenemies, yeah. I feel like Cara is, like, Jess's real best friend at this point, and like Lila's like, we're best friends, but you know, we have issues.
Ken comes over and he starts teasing Elizabeth about Todd's return.
Oh, this yes.
Yeah. He says Todd Wilkins will be all the Secret Santa that Elizabeth can handle.
Yeah.
And Liz thinks, I certainly hope so. Bet she does.
Penis.
And apparently Todd's going to be staying with Ken for the week.
Yes. Yeah, he's staying with the Matthews.
The twins go to their photo shoot, and on the way home, Jessica's just gushing about hands. We don't get anything about the photo shoot. We're just told they've been.
Yeah.
And she's gushing about hands in the car on the way home.
And Liz is like, he's okay.
Yeah, Elizabeth isn't even listening because she's too busy thinking about Todd.
Yeah, she says that she feels sorry for Todd being stuck in freezing, snowy Vermont. And Jess, of course, says, well, you know, she understands, because she wouldn't understand what Christmas... You can't even imagine what Christmas would be like if you can't be, like, sitting by the pool and on, you know, in sunny Sweet Valley.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently Jessica loves swimming in the pool on Christmas Eve. I'm so jealous.
They go to the beach in this. It's like December and they're on the beach.
I'd happily never, ever have a winter again.
Yeah, I know. Your summer all the way.
I'd just live over, like, minimum 20 degrees, like, forever. I'd be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So they reminisce about a time when Lila's father spent a fortune on a winter wonderland in front of the Fowler mansion.
Now, yes. Now, I'm assuming Jess is just saying this because she's kind of like on rocky ground with Lila at the moment. Like you said, frenemies.
Yeah.
But she calls it the tackiest thing ever.
Yeah.
I think it sounds amazing.
This winter wonderland featured a sleigh with 8 plastic reindeer, a life-size Santa, full-size statues, and fake snowmen.
I'm assuming it's a life-size Santa, like, model
the size
thing.
of a man.
Because I was like, yeah, because you could just have a guy dressed as Santa. He would be a normal-sized Santa.
And yeah, Jessica says it's tacky, but like you, I thought it sounded amazing.
Yeah.
But she explains to Liz that she's not happy with Lila at the moment.
No, she has been awful and decided that she wants to enter a competition that Jess is also entering.
Jessica's desperate to be Miss Christmas Time in the annual Sweet Valley Parade. She'll get to ride on the first float, wave at people,
yeah,
and wear a nice dress.
And apparently it is a very big deal. The Christmas Parade is a very big deal in Sweet Valley. But of course Liz can't think of anything worse than smiling and waving at people.
Part of me agrees with Liz, but...
I do somewhat agree.
Like, because I am a bit of a Jessica.
Yeah.
I think I want to do it.
Yeah.
You know,
I just always think that Liz is boring, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I think it's not so much... In this instance, I can understand her point, but I just think Liz just goes out of her way to be boring.
Jessica was runner-up last year, so she really wants to get it this year.
Yeah, I wonder who won last year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hopefully, like, Robin or someone.
So she's got to be at the Civic Centre at 3:30 p.m. tomorrow for the selection process.
Yes.
Where they answer a few questions and walk down a runway.
Yeah.
They get home and Jessica tries to get Liz to tell who she got for Secret Santa.
Yeah, she's like, no, it's a secret. I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, Liz will not tell. But we find out.
Oh, yeah.
Liz ended up with Aaron Dallas.
She did indeed. Jess is not going to keep hers a secret, though, and she just says that hers is Bruce Patman.
Yeah, and she's not happy about it.
No. But there is some terrible news Stephen has got for them.
Yeah, so Stephen comes up behind them. And by the way, Stephen is the image of Ned at 18 years old with his athletic build. Just in case you didn't know.
Just to be clear.
They shriek at Stephen and give him a hug. And he says he hates to be Scrooge, but he's got some bad news. The abominable snowman is coming to spend 2 weeks with them.
Now, of course, the twins are a little confused about this. They're like, what are you talking about?
So he explains. He'd answered the phone when Ned and Alice were at work, and it was Mr. Devlin calling from New York.
Yes, everything is set.
Yeah, he left a message to tell their parents that the plans on Saturday are going ahead. Suzanne will be arriving. The plan's on Sunday. Suzanne is going ahead. Suzanne will be arriving at 1 p.m. and she'll be staying for 2 weeks.
Christmas is fucked.
Yeah.
So, of course, Suzanne Devlin, we have covered this book. She is the wonderful young lady who flirted with Winston, flirted with Aaron, led them both on, was not interested in either of them, stole the lavalier from Liz, and most egregious of all, well, actually two things. Accused Mr. Collins of attempted rape and really upset our little Teddy.
Yeah.
Who they don't even mention in this book, by the way.
And did something rather bizarre with a hosepipe.
Oh my goodness. Yes, she did. I forgot about that.
You mentioned it to me the other day.
I know. I'd forgotten in the meantime, yeah.
So, yeah, obviously they're horrified.
Yeah, and like, you know, Liz, like, immediately she's just up in her room, like, head in her hands, and, you know, she just can't believe that her parents are doing this, and neither can I. I mean, for one thing, Ned is a lawyer who went to see Mr. Collins in his kind of capacity as a friend and a lawyer. He knows what these accusations were, you know, the accusations she made. I can't believe that a lawyer would actually be okay with having her back. Like, and spend time in their family. She's a thief who accused someone of rape.
Yeah.
Like, completely falsely. And it was, like, pretty much conclusive. I don't think anyone in Sweet Valley believes that it was true now. So, you almost ruined a man's career. I cannot believe that either Ned or Alice would do this. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the three of them are in Elizabeth's room, and Jessica says they're not going to take this lying down, and Stephen agrees. But Elizabeth reminds Jessica she didn't even meet Demolition Devlin. And Jessica says she suffered too, stuck with Suzanne's friends. One of them had just spent their trust fund on plastic surgery for their chin.
Yeah.
But she doesn't mention in front of Stephen that Suzanne's boyfriend Pete tried to rape her.
Yeah, he
So
did.
that's another thing.
Now, it is clear that she has since told Liz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Liz says their parents are probably just too polite to tell the Devlins what a creep their daughter is. And Jessica says, well, I'll happily tell them after what that girl's boyfriend did. And Stephen's like, what?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, don't worry, he was just a jerk.
But of course, they have a situation to resolve now. How do you get rid of Suzanne Devlin?
And also, just to point out, like, it seems like nothing's been done about this attempted rape.
No, nothing
Even
at all.
though Mr. and Mrs.
Nothing.
Devlin walked in on it happening.
Yeah, like, they were there. They saw it happen.
Like,
you know, Jess has come back, told Liz. I can't believe Liz didn't tell their parents.
I know.
Like, it's crazy. This whole situation is crazy.
Jessica says this kind of torture is inhumane. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much your worst nightmare.
And Stephen says, look, we'll just talk to our parents and we'll be calm and we'll be reasonable.
Well, at this point, I was like, Steve's got a point. You know, he's like, let's go talk to them and just ask and find out what's going on.
And Jessica says, well, I'm going to be honest with them. And storms out of the room.
Yeah.
So Ned and Alice have decided to break the news about Suzanne to the family at Guido's.
Yeah, I've put a note here. It's supposedly to celebrate the end of school.
No way.
But I was
I
like,
know why they've done this.
You've made this as public as you can to try and hope that they won't make a big scene about
Yeah,
it, and
that's
you're
what I've
bribing
put.
them with pizza.
And then something amazing happens.
Yep.
We actually witness, after what we said in the last episode, we actually witnessed someone telling Alice that she could be the twin sister.
Yes, it actually happened.
From the last episode, we were like, how often does this happen? Because we've never seen it happen.
Well, it's happened
It
now.
actually fucking happens.
Yeah,
it's the
actually
owner
happened.
of Guido's.
Yeah, that's probably the only person who does it.
Yeah.
And also,
Probably
he knows-
happened in the next book as well now.
Yeah, but also he's doing it because, you know, he's just being a bit flirty and a bit nice because he, you know, return customers. He's business. I don't think he necessarily means it, Alice. I think he's just being nice.
So Alice tells them about Suzanne visiting, and Jessica complains they didn't even ask them.
Yeah, which I think is fair. They
It's
weren't even
true.
consulted
Yeah.
on this.
And Ned says, well, we didn't get a chance to. Tom Devlin only called me last week. And it's like, so you did have a chance then.
Yeah, and Alice even says, like, oh, we didn't really have a choice. It's like, of course you had a
Just
choice.
say no.
You could have just
Yeah.
said no.
Ned says Suzanne's been through a hard time lately, and she wanted to wish the Wakefields a Merry Christmas. And Ned initially thought she just meant a phone call. But when she called, she sucked up to Ned. She said, I really want to see the family in person to make up for what I did. She could make up for it by staring the fuck away.
Yeah, she really
and
could.
never darkening their door again.
Absolutely. You would think, I mean, after that accusation alone, you'd be like, that's done. I'm never going there again. And the twins do rightly ask, what has she gone through exactly? And Ned and Alice just refuse to say.
And Liz says, well, we also need to consider Aaron's feelings, Winston's feelings, and Mr. Collins' feelings.
Yes.
But Ned says she's written a letter to Mr. Collins and he supports her visiting.
I cannot believe
No way.
that if someone accused me of that, I would never speak to me or contact me ever again. I cannot believe he's been like, yeah, cool.
No.
I'm sure he's like, yeah, cool, but I don't want to see you.
But Alice says we can't deny anyone a welcome in the Wakefield home.
Yes, you can.
But especially at Christmas, because she's going to be spending Christmas Day there.
Yeah,
just to make
yes.
this clear.
Sorry, yeah. The 2 weeks are literally over Christmas. Yeah.
Like my family wouldn't. I think even. Well, almost anybody.
Yeah, almost anyone. You wouldn't,
say,
would you?
It's Christmas. You can come after Christmas. You can come
before Christmas. Yeah, but not over Christmas.
Yeah,
this is someone. You're right. It's weird enough that they're doing.
They've
this
only
anyway.
met her once.
Yeah,
and look
she
what
was
happened
awful.
then.
Yeah,
yeah,
crazy.
So the Devlins are going to Switzerland for Christmas, and Suzanne doesn't want to go. Boo hoo.
Yeah, and I think it's Jess, just says, obviously the only reason she's coming to be with us is because she wants to get out of going to Switzerland.
And Alice says Christmas is the time of year to extend goodwill to people in need. And that's that.
Liz thinks that if they give Suzanne a chance, she'd probably destroy the world.
And it sounds like it's sort of exaggerated, but when you read the book, Too Good to Be True, if you haven't read it.
Or listen to our recap.
Yeah, even better.
It's bad. It's
really bad.
Really bad.
She is really, really evil.
And also, it's even worse for us because, unlike the characters, we actually get to read her thoughts. And she's really evil. She is properly evil in that book.
So back at home, the siblings put their heads together to come up with a plan.
Yeah, Stephen rightly says, I thought my parents would be reasonable. But no,
yeah, right.
They're not.
When are they reasonable?
Yeah, he says they've gone off the deep end.
But Jessica has an idea. She asks Liz to call Suzanne and basically tell her everyone hates her and she'll have a horrible time if she comes.
Yeah. Which is not untrue, so,
Yeah, that's not a lie. Elizabeth says no at first, but then they tickle her until she agrees.
Yeah, they tickle her into submission.
Of a weird tactic
it's a bit of a strange tactic.
People in their late teens, but there you go.
I love that she agrees to make the call, and as she's walking out of the room, because she's like, I'm going to do this from my own room, Jess shouts, call collect. He's like, we're not even going to pay the phone bill to phone her.
So when Suzanne hears Elizabeth's voice, she shrieks with excitement, and she says, I know I was a total monster before, and you have every right to hate me.
Correct.
And Liz says, I'm just concerned that you'll be bored in Sweet Valley. There's no nightclubs. There is some fucking nightclubs. What about the Caravan?
Yeah.
Remember the Caravan from Dangerous Love?
Yeah.
The cool new nightclub?
Yeah.
And there's no snow. But Suzanne says she loves Sweet Valley, and it's like last time you were there, you kept thinking how much you hated it.
She
constantly.
absolutely hated it. The book was very clear that she didn't want to be there, and she hated it.
Suzanne says, I could never be bored. And Liz says, well, we've all got lots of holiday plans, so we won't be able to spend much time with you. But Suzanne still insists on coming.
Yeah, she says, I can tell that I can't convince you over the phone, and that's exactly why I'm coming in person, because I want to make it up to you.
Liz did a shit job at her mission.
Yeah, I've got Liz hangs up the phone, she's a complete fucking failure.
She didn't even say what she was supposed to say.
I know.
She should have got Jessica to make the call.
Yeah, I thought that. I was like, Jessica could just pretend to be Liz.
Yeah.
It's not a problem.
That would have been amazing. Imagine what Jessica would have said.
Jessica would have annihilated her.
Yeah.
Suzanne wouldn't have even turned up if Jessica had phoned her.
The book over.
Yep, done. Short book, 10 pages, over.
So Stephen says, well, we may as well give up. But Jessica has a plan B.
Yeah.
She says when Suzanne arrives, they can all torment her and make sure she has a horrible time and she never wants to come back.
Yeah.
And Liz is uneasy about this, but when Jessica brings up Mr. Collins and what Suzanne did, Liz is like, okay, I'm all in.
She's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that attempted rape accusation.
Yeah.
Now that I've
you can
remembered
fuck everyone else I know around. You mess with Mr. Collins. You mess with me.
You mess with my boy. I mean, my teacher. Can we just point out the gloriousness of this whole situation? By the way, Liz has come back in and they're having this conversation. During this conversation, Jessica is lying on the bed, on Stephen's bed, with tea bags on her eyes.
Oh yeah,
because apparently they make your eyes unpuff.
That's a normal thing.
That's a normal thing. Is it actually a normal thing?
Yeah, I've done that before.
You're winding me up.
I swear, I'm not winding you up.
Is this a real thing?
I have genuinely done that before.
Because I read that and I was like, "This
it's
book
like
is mental."
cucumbers, you know.
Okay, I thought this was like
just a bit more minging.
Okay, I didn't realise that was a thing.
They're wet tea bags as well, by the way.
Yeah, I know, because Stephen complains about them getting on the bed.
Yeah. Maybe,
I didn't realise it was a real thing. Fair enough. See, I learned so much doing this podcast.
We'll give you a little eye treatment over Christmas.
You could unpuff my eyes.
Yeah, you do get puffy eyes when you're tired.
I do get very puffy eyes when I'm tired. Maybe I could be Miss Christmas time.
Saturday morning at the breakfast table, Elizabeth's whinging to Stephen, the start of this dilemma, that she doesn't know what to get for Todd for Christmas. She's considering a wallet, but she thinks that might be too extravagant.
A wallet might be too extravagant. How is that extravagant? Well, I can tell you one thing. A slight spoiler for later in the podcast. The gift she does get Todd is definitely not extravagant. So
no.
She does accomplish that goal. You're right there. How is a wallet
I guess she's thinking like a real leather initials into it or something.
Well, like his personalised
Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, sure.
Like, no, just, get him a cheap $10 wallet.
Yeah, that's that. But that in my head, that's what it was. It was just like a really cheap, fake leather wallet or something.
But she's like just really.
She's over the top about this.
It's like constant from now. Like she just thinks about what to get Todd all the time. And she admits to Stephen that she's been wondering if they're growing apart. And Stephen says if any couple can survive a long distance relationship, then it's you two.
But then something catches Stephen's eye.
Oh my god.
And he gasps. He audibly gasps. What does he see?
He sees Jessica. She's dressed as an elf. And she's got a very inventive costume.
Well, you say that she's dressed as an elf. And the book constantly tells us she's dressed as an elf. But see if this screams elf to you.
Yeah, she's been very inventive with this. Very resourceful.
Yeah.
So she's wearing green tights. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair.
Green slippers with curled up toes and jingle bells on the front.
Yep.
Fair enough. And she'd made a strange little suit out of a green plastic garbage bag with holes cut out of it for her arms and legs, and she stapled it at the shoulders. Couldn't she have found like a green dress or just
that's like traditionally, right? You just have a green dress.
She's got a fucking rubbish bag.
She's got a rubbish bag. And to make things worse...
Yeah, there's more.
Oh, go on. Sorry. Continue.
She's stuffed the rubbish bag with newspaper to make herself look round.
Can you imagine how noisy she is? Just moving.
Yeah, sounds scrunchy.
She'd be crunching all the time. Yeah.
And she's put a red long sleeve t-shirt under the garbage bag, and she's painted her face green.
But that's not enough because, of course, all elves have to have a hat.
So she calmly announces, "I need a hat." She goes over to the bin. The bin? Like the rubbish bin. And takes a green plastic tomato basket out of the bin and starts tying long red ribbons on it, on each side of it.
This is not Jessica Wakefield.
No,
she's like had a I think like Suzanne Devlin coming has like mentally broken her.
Like you can buy elf hats in shops.
You can buy elf dresses in shops.
Outfit. Oh my god. And she calmly says to Elizabeth and Stephen.
Yeah, because Liz is like, "What on earth are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?
Haven't either of you ever seen an elf before?
Well, I actually
one like that.
I actually think I have, and they don't look like this. So,
And she haughtily tells them that she's volunteered to be an elf at the mall and help Santa pass out presents.
Yeah, and Steve's like, I thought you were gonna... Have you noticed, by the way, we're this many books in now? I feel like me and Stephen are on good terms, so I call him Steve now rather than Stephen. I know him a bit better now. So he's like, I thought you wanted to be Miss Christmas Time. And Jess says, oh, you don't know anything, because the Miss Christmas Time competition is not until the afternoon, and she'll be out of the elf outfit and ready in plenty of time.
Yeah, because it's the selection day. And she tells him it's a Pi Beta Alpha thing. Kara was supposed to be doing it, but she's got a bad cold.
Yes, it's like a sorority thing.
They do it every year.
Yeah.
And then we're reminded that Elizabeth thinks the PBAs are snobs. It's like, well, they're helping out the community more than you do. Like,
yeah,
they're doing a good deed. What are you doing today,
You're doing
Liz?
nothing, Liz.
Sitting there moping about what to get Todd for Christmas.
This is the kind of thing that you'd expect Liz to be doing.
Yeah.
And Jess to be making fun of.
And obviously, she's a member by name only.
Oh, yes,
Why
because she's above
fucking
them.
join it in the bloody first place? This irritates me every time
I
he
know.
brings this up.
Yeah, why are you even in it? Why were you in the unicorns? Why were you in this? Why were you in that? Liz, just don't.
And on the way out, sorry, go on.
I was just going to say what you said. Jess storms out, but then Stephen calls her back, saying, Secret Santa.
Yeah, there's a parcel addressed to her on the porch.
Yeah.
It's her first Secret Santa gift. It's a wooden jewellery box that plays Beethoven.
Yes.
Of course, Elizabeth's the one that recognises the composer.
Yes, yeah. And of course, Jess immediately is like, it must be from Hans because it's a European gift.
Yeah, she says it's got European taste written all over it. And Beethoven was German, so it's definitely from Hans.
Yeah,
Was
that's
Beethoven
fact.
German?
Fact. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I think he might be. I don't know.
I don't know anything about classical music.
No, me either.
And I was
Like,
like, is this meant to be a joke about how stupid Jessica is, or is it true and he actually is German?
Well, if he isn't German, then you can put me down as just as stupid as Jessica.
And me.
I don't know.
Jessica's thrilled with this gift and she dances out of the house.
Yeah, I think she's more thrilled with the thought that it's Hans.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So hours later, it's 2 p.m.
Yeah, and Jess is done with being an elf. Turns out it's quite tiring work. So she's giving out she's like Santa's helper, right? She's giving the gifts to the kids and all of that stuff.
Her face hurts from smiling and she's got a headache because of all the noisy kids.
But that's fine because, there's 2 shifts and the shift's coming to an end. So, it's time to go get ready for Miss Christmas Time, right?
She asks Santa when the replacement elf is arriving. But he says that there isn't one. She's got to stay until 5 p.m.
Yeah, Santa tells her, by the way, they never name this guy, so I'm calling him Santa. Santa says that he hopes that they don't have to close early and disappoint all the kids.
And she knows that he's right.
Yeah.
Even Jessica can't be that evil.
But she will continue for the rest of the day, but she's got to make some phone calls first.
She calls Kara. She goes off to a payphone and calls Kara and she says, why did you tell me it would only be for an hour or 2? Because I'm supposed to be at the Civic Centre for Miss Christmas Time selection. Kara feels terrible.
Yeah.
And she lets it slip that Lila put her up to faking a cold and making Jessica do the elf thing as a joke.
Yeah, so the joke is that it will be funny, supposedly Lila said it will be funny for them to see her in green paint. But I refused. So Kara says she didn't know that Jessica was entering the Miss Christmas Time competition.
How would she not know that?
I'm like, how would you not know? Jessica would have told everyone that she was entering this.
And then Jessica's seething. Her dream is ruined.
Yeah. She says she tells Kara, she's like, I am going to go, I need to go help Santa with the kids. But first, I'm going to phone Lila, kill her.
Over the phone.
With
my
via
voice.
the phone. Yeah.
So we get to 5 p.m. and Santa notices her glum face.
Yeah.
And he asks what's up.
Yeah, he thanks her for being such a good elf and helping out. And he's like, what's wrong?
And she explains all about Miss Christmas Time. And he says, well, it's not as glamorous, but you could ride on my float.
I imagine, yeah. Ooh. I imagine that Santa just did a Liz where he's like, what's wrong? And then immediately regrets asking what's wrong. imagine being this guy who's like dressed as Santa, does this every year, sees like his elf like upset, and he's like, oh, what's wrong? And then she comes out with this mental story about like Pi Beta Alpha and like Miss Christmas Time and how they've like tricked her into doing this to force her so she can't win it. He must have been just sat there like, what?
And he says you could ride on my float as an elf if you want to.
Yeah, and Jess can't think of anything more humiliating.
No.
But then she has an idea.
Yeah, and she says, count me in. She gets home and she tells Liz she was framed. And bitch Elizabeth tries not to laugh.
Yeah, well, I guess she does look ridiculous.
But, it's still a bit mean, isn't it?
It's very mean, yeah.
Jessica angrily rips open the trash bag dress and yanks the newspaper out.
Oh, no.
She tells Liz that her plan is to steal Lila's crown and dress from the Civic Centre changing room on the parade day and replace it with her elf costume. And Lila won't be able to make a scene and disappoint Santa, so she'll have to be an elf.
Now,
and Jessica can be Miss Christmas Time.
I have to question this
I've got some questions too.
Yeah. So the question I've got is, presumably Lila's not turning up naked, so she will have clothes. Like, it's not like she's not going to turn up and be like, oh, I have nothing to wear. I've turned up naked, so I have to wear this elf outfit. She would have turned up in the clothes she wore. So, like, even if she steals the crown and stuff and leaves the elf outfit, there is absolutely no reason why Lila would have to dress up as this elf.
Yeah, and the question I've got is, won't the organisers notice that Miss Christmas Time is a completely different girl to the one they chose?
Suddenly you're not the person that won the competition.
They'll be like, you didn't win this title.
Yeah.
But Liz thinks this is a great plan.
Yeah, and she says like, you know, oh, you terrify me, but in this instance, I can see your point. She does kind of deserve it.
And then Alice comes in and she tells them that Suzanne is going to be staying in Jessica's room, so Jessica has to clean it by tomorrow morning.
Yeah, not only are we having this awful person here, you also have to move out of your room, give up your room. Now, Alice and Ned, I think you should give up your room.
Well, I mean,
they've got a spare room. Oh, no, they haven't got a spare room.
Also, firstly, why not just put her in Liz's room as that's already tidy?
Yeah, that's true.
And then, you know, they won't have to stress
Maybe
about
Alice
getting
is
the whole
like,
room
I've
tidy.
been waiting for this room to get tidy for so long.
And also, they've got the den.
She already hates me. I'll just make her tidy her room as well.
And they've got the den as well. Like, put her in the den where Betsy stayed.
Yeah.
Did Betsy stay in the den?
She did. Yeah, she stayed in
Ned's study or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got other rooms.
Just let her stay outside.
But
sunny. It's hot, you know. Just not going to freeze to death.
Shove her on the like the sun lounger next to the pool.
Yeah, just tie her to the tree like you did with Sally.
And
that's a twins.
Jessica's going to be sleeping in Elizabeth's room for 2 weeks, and Liz isn't happy about this.
No, obviously not.
She calls Jessica the Jolly Green Giant.
But of course, it does give Jessica more of an idea how to make Suzanne's life more miserable.
Yeah, they call her Devil-Faced Devlin. Jessica says, we'll make Devil-Faced Devlin have a room waiting for her that she'll never believe.
Yeah.
They're going to put burnt-out light bulbs in the lamps. That's not really going to be that bad. She'll just go and get a new light bulb.
Yeah, it's not like they're going to explode or
life,
anything.
is it?
She's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, just change the light bulb. Short sheet the bed. I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what that means, no.
But again, I'm sure it's not that much of a big deal. She'll just fix it.
Yeah, yeah.
And plant horrible things in the corners of the room. Well, from what we've heard about Jessica's room, there's probably horrible things in the corners already.
Yeah, to be honest, the biggest thing she could do to sabotage the room is just leave it as it is.
Yeah. And then we cut to the Dairy Burger. It's packed with Sweet Valley High students.
Yeah, it basically Liz and Jess head to the dairy to meet people, and then it takes them forever to get to their table because Jess is just telling every single table about what happened.
Yeah, and she's looking for hands.
Yeah.
And Ken waves them over to the booth he's sat in with Aaron Dallas, and his new girlfriend, Patsy Weber.
I think, yeah, and Olivia and Winston.
So it seems like Aaron gets with Patsy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
You remember Patsy, right?
I do
Perfect
indeed.
Patsy. even more beautiful than the Wakefield twins.
Yeah.
Not an ounce of fat on her body.
No, perfection.
So yeah, apparently she's with Aaron. Olivia and Roger are there as well.
And Enid.
Yeah, with her date, a freshman from Sweet Valley College called Chip.
Chip Ettleson? Etleson? I'm not
Dating
sure.
a college guy.
Yeah, I know.
Go Enid.
Yeah.
Winston winks at Ken as he asks Jessica if her Secret Santa's been good to her. She doesn't notice this wink, and she smugly says that he's a man of incredible taste. Patsy tells them that her Secret Santa has bought her a £5 bag of pistachios.
I like pistachios.
And Aaron's going to get jealous, apparently.
Right.
But then Aaron says that he got a coupon for a free back rub from his.
Now that is
And
a questionable gift from a kid, right?
And we know Elizabeth sent that because...
Oh yeah! My God, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, at the beginning of the book, we're told she had Aaron. That's a very un-Liz thing to say.
That's a very Do you know, I think Suzanne Devlin visiting has really messed these twins up. They're like opposites now.
I think that the writer forgot that they said that at the start.
I think you might be right.
It wasn't like the first 2 pages.
I'd forgotten.
Liz
That
would
is
no way send that.
the opposite of what Liz would do. I agree.
What kind of Secret Santa is this?
Well, I guess we're about to find out.
And Jessica says, speaking of surprises, she's got a bad one for them.
Now, honestly, at this point, obviously this is the news of Suzanne Devlin coming. I honestly thought that this bad news was going to be about the Mall and her not being Miss Christmas Time.
No, she tells them that Suzanne is visiting. And she gets quite an extreme reaction.
Ken shouts, "The plague! The plague is coming to visit!"
Winston buries his head in his hands and says, "We're ruined!"
It's like she's staying with the Wakefields, but somehow it's still going to ruin Winston's Christmas.
And Aaron says, "I can't stand it."
And Patsy's like,
yeah, Patsy's like, "Who the fuck is this person?"
She might be quite nice.
Liz says to everyone she apparently wants to apologise, and Winston says, "Fat chance. She probably just wants to spread more misery." And poor Chip as well.
Yeah, Chip,
has like
Chip
no
and
idea
Patsy are just
what
sat here
anyone's
like, what's
fucking
going
talking
on?
about. So Winston explains to them that Suzanne is bad news with a capital B, a pain in the neck with a capital P, and he doesn't think the town will last that long under siege.
Oh boy.
And Aaron says, "Well, if you need any help giving her a rough time, then me and Winston are ready."
Yeah, and of course Liz goes to say I'm not sure we should get other people involved, but before she even can, Jess immediately says, "I knew we could count on you for your help. Thanks so much, guys," and then just runs away to find Hans.
And Elizabeth's horrified by this as well.
Yeah.
But Enid says to Liz, "Don't worry about Suzanne. She can't be that bad."
Yeah.
And she can be. But
I think so.
Suddenly, the whole restaurant went quiet.
Yeah, Liz is having a conversation and she just realises that no one's talking.
The swim team have walked in, led by Bill Chase, and they're wearing nothing but bathing suits and towels around their necks.
And they've got an arm on each other's shoulder.
Yeah, weirdly. I can't even...
I don't know.
My question is, are their bathing suits as tiny as Bruce Patman's famous bathing suits?
I assumed they were.
I hope they are. And they stop in front of Olivia.
Who is horrified.
Yeah. And they say, "Your Secret Santa has instructed us to serenade you." They start playing pitch pipes and singing Silent Night.
Out of key.
She's mortified. And she begs Roger to make them stop.
Yeah, but she does start to enjoy it after a while.
They carry on for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I know. They literally go through every song they can think of, I think.
Like, what do the Dairy Burger management think about this?
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't kick them out.
Isn't it public indecency?
I would have thought.
I would have thought it would be.
Especially if it's Bruce Patman.
Yeah, and especially if they're, teenagers. That's... And there's food around.
Yeah.
But apparently everyone loves it. Apart from one person.
Boring Liz.
Yeah, she thinks, what would Mr. Collins say if he knew how exotic the Secret Santa gifts are becoming?
I've noticed they use exotic to replace a different word that sounds a lot like exotic.
And also, she can talk. Miss
Yeah,
back
she just
rub.
gave someone a back rub. Yeah, absolutely.
That's worse.
I agree.
Ken and Winston start teasing Liz about Todd again, and she's not amused.
No, she's clearly not happy.
She's in a really bitchy mood, and at the end of the night, she goes to wait for Jessica in the parking lot with Enid.
Yeah, and Enid's like noticed she's clearly not happy.
Jessica's in there flirting with Hans.
Yeah.
And so she confides in Enid that she's nervous about seeing Todd. And Enid says, "You two are like bread and butter. It'll be great. You belong together."
Yeah, and then they start talking about Chip. And Enid says, is there a second date with him? And she thinks he's a little bit too nice. But she does like him. Liz thinks he's adorable.
And then Jessica finally tears herself away from Hans and comes out. And she tells Liz that she's in love.
Yes, apparently, quote, those foreigners really know how to kiss.
And then she says she could live in a castle in Bavaria. And Lisbeth says that sounds like a horror film.
Yeah.
And then Jessica tells her she's not really serious. And she doesn't actually want to fall in love. Because she could never be like Elizabeth with all that long distance stuff.
Yeah, she says she really can't understand how Liz can be with Todd so far away and be dedicated to him. But Liz points out that apparently they're together. I'm really confused. So apparently, I guess they're together, but they're allowed to date other people while they're not together?
Yeah, it seems like that's what's happened, yeah.
Which is just bizarre. And I know we've missed that book, so I guess we'll get to that book soon when they do leave and we'll find out these ground rules. But
I mean, it is a thing. It's not something I would ever agree to.
No, it sounds bizarre to me.
But it is a thing. But she admits to Jessica that she hasn't been dating anyone else.
No.
Jessica says, "Well, I wonder if Todd's popular at his new school. What would you do if you fell in love with someone else there?"
Yeah, and Liz just kind of freezes. She doesn't know what to say.
Yeah. And then we cut to Alice.
Oh, yeah.
She's at the airport to meet Suzanne, and nobody else have wanted to go.
Yeah, it makes it
why.
clear that she wishes the twins were there to help her with this awkward situation. A situation that her and Ned are 100% responsible for creating.
Yeah, no one wants to go and meet Suzanne.
Obviously not.
Alice had expected Suzanne to look different. Tom had warned them that she lost some weight and she looked pale and fragile.
Yeah.
But still beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
It makes it very clear.
She's got some faint vein lines on her forehead, but other than that, she's perfect.
In the car, she's surprisingly polite. And
it's like, even Alice is expecting her to be a bitch. She's like, you know, she's just going to be a bitch.
But Alice warns her she's not going to get a great reception from the Sweet Valley kids. But says, "I admire you for having the courage to come." And then we get Alice's inner monologue. She wishes the twins knew what she knew about Suzanne, but she's been sworn to secrecy.
Yes.
So at this point, we don't know either.
No, we know that she's on some medication, I think. I think it says that she knew she'd lose some weight because of the medication, but we know nothing else. And we know that Suzanne has sworn them to secrecy because she doesn't want to be pitied.
Meanwhile, Jessica has warned Elizabeth and Stephen, no pity. If she's nice, it's just a trick.
Well, it was a trick and an act last time.
Yeah.
We have to bear in mind, in the last book she was in, she was lovely to everyone, and it was a complete manipulation the whole time.
Yeah, she was really lovely.
She was lovely, yeah.
So when she arrives, they're all rude to her. They pretend they've forgotten she was coming.
Yeah, they pretend. Jessica acts like she's forgotten who Suzanne even is.
Yeah,
she's like, "Oh, how is the trip from Miami?" Even though, like, clearly she's from New York, and Jess went to New York.
Yeah, Suzanne's like, "Oh, you stayed in my apartment."
Yeah.
And Stephen just stares at her and won't speak.
Yeah.
Liz can't stand the awkward silence, so she asks Suzanne how her flight was. And Suzanne says it was boring. And Jessica says, "Well, we're used to being bored in little old Sweet Valley." Because last time Suzanne was here, she was, thinking, "Oh, this hick town."
This hick backwards town. Yeah.
Acting like it was some kind of,
beneath her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suzanne tells Jessica that she's not with Pete anymore and she's sorry about what happened.
Sorry about my ex attempted rape on you.
So I guess the Devlins must have told Suzanne?
You'd assume, right? I mean, she found out one way or another.
She comes home and is like, by the way, your boyfriend tried to rape Jessica.
Yeah. I mean, they did witness that.
We're not going to tell the police.
Or do anything about
or
it.
tell the Wakefield parents. We're just going to...
Yeah.
We're just going to leave it.
Just going to leave that one.
Jessica says, well, we're not used to that kind of thing happening in small-town America.
Well, let me introduce you to Bruce Patman.
Yeah, like, actually, you're really used to it. It happens to you all the fucking time.
It happens quite a lot.
So when Suzanne goes upstairs to freshen up, Elizabeth says to Jess, like, you're overdoing it a little bit.
Yeah.
And she feels sorry for Suzanne.
Jess, though. Jess immediately tells Liz, come on, Liz, you've got to have a little backbone.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, she has given in pretty quickly.
Like, immediately. It's been like 5 minutes. Yeah, she's not even unpacked yet, and Liz is like, let's be nice.
She's such a doormat.
She really is.
Such a sap.
She really is.
Later on, Suzanne has gone to bed early, and Jessica says she's not even all that. She's actually a bit pale, and she's way too thin. And Elizabeth is like, well, she didn't look like that last time she was here.
Mm.
But she told Liz that she'd been on a new diet.
Yeah. Stephen says that he finds it hard to hate her now that she's here.
Yeah.
She seems so nice and so delicate.
Those two, they're letting the team down.
They are, but Jess is having none of it.
No.
She says it's all fake and manipulative.
Yeah, and she points out that Elizabeth thought she was really nice before.
Yeah, everyone did.
What happened there?
Absolutely.
She's got an idea. She suggests they ruin Suzanne's diet by putting butter into her food so she'll gain weight. They've already short-sheeted her bed, and Suzanne's had to remake the whole thing. Whatever that means, again.
Yeah. Jess also thinks that... Jess also says that she thinks that the whole reason Suzanne's come here is because she's got a mental health issue about her weight, and that she's avoiding going to Europe because she hears that Europe has really fattening foods.
I don't think... I mean, America's got really fattening
I know.
food.
That's what I thought. It was like, I think every
You're at the
country...
Dairy Burger every damn day.
Yeah, I mean, every country has fattening foods, really. Like, I don't know that one's more than the other. So, yeah, I still don't know what this shortening of the bed sheets is.
No,
I don't understand
either.
what that is, but...
And, yeah, Jessica says, don't come to me for help when Suzanne turns back into devilish Devlin.
Yeah.
And then Todd phones to speak to Liz. And he's shocked to hear that Suzanne's back.
Yeah, he can't believe it.
He says that he'll be over to see her in the morning as soon as he's dropped his bags off at Kent's.
Yeah, and Liz asks, are you sure you're okay with me not coming to the airport? But Todd says, he's fine with it, as he'd rather that they get to spend their first moment together alone rather than have to have Ken's family there. And I was like, that's a bit weird. I'd be fine with that. I want to see you at the airport. I don't care if someone else's family's there. We love each other.
You're only going to give a hug and a kiss.
It's not a problem, is it?
You're not going to start ripping each other's clothes off.
No. It's like, come on, I'm sure the Matthews family has seen a connect the dots kiss before. It'll be fine.
And then Todd hangs up, and we get this really weird scene.
I can't believe this.
Todd staring at the snow through the window of his parents' greenhouse.
Yeah.
And he thinks to himself, winter magic. So suddenly looking like a Hallmark movie.
It kind of is, yeah.
Winter Magic, that's the name of the film.
It's like a Hallmark Christmas movie in Vermont, and it's like a Hallmark summer movie in Sweet Valley.
But then we hear his thoughts.
Jesus.
So we discover that he's seen Suzanne less than a month ago.
Yes, he did.
He'd been on a school skiing trip to Killington, and he'd run into her. She'd hung out with him and his friend Jerry.
Who sounds like a sexist piece of shit.
Yeah, Jerry's like obsessed with
ski
girls.
bunnies.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Suzanne was completely different than she used to be. The three of them hung out. They even went to a bustling burger joint, and Suzanne actually had fun. The next day, Suzanne had asked Todd to see him alone for a walk.
What?
And she told him how ashamed she was of how she'd acted. And it was all because she was angry at her parents.
Get used to this.
That is not a fucking valid excuse.
This excuse. This is the excuse that Suzanne gives for accusing someone of attempted rape. This is the excuse that Suzanne gives for treating Aaron Dallas and Winston like shit. Stealing. This is her excuse. She also, earlier on, I think it was earlier on, or it might be in a bit, she also uses it as the excuse for why Pete tried to rape Jessica.
That hasn't happened yet. That's
unbelievable. How, like, it's like everyone
this
in this
is not
book.
a valid excuse.
No,
for
it's like all my parents.
nearly
like,
fucking Mr. Collins' whole life and career up. I was just mad at my parents.
Yeah, I was mad at my parents, so that makes everything okay.
But Todd noticed how beautiful she looked.
Yeah, he thinks she looks amazing and he can't deny it. Now, that's fine. You can think she looks amazing. We all knew she looked amazing originally.
Oh, didn't we just?
But that doesn't mean or make anything she's done okay.
I still can't believe she's more amazing than Patsy.
No.
Aaron stepped up.
Yeah.
But apparently they've got some chemistry. And they'd almost kissed. But she backed off at the last second.
So, to be clear, Todd was going to go through with that.
Mm-hmm.
That was her having some restraint, not him.
Yeah. Back to the present. Todd thinks that he should have told Liz that he'd seen her. But he thinks it's too late now.
He also thinks that he shouldn't feel guilty, as nothing really happened.
But you're lying.
But something did nearly happen,
yeah.
And it would have happened, and you should probably have said something. I mean, at least when Liz told you that...
You could have just said I bumped into her.
Yeah, like at the moment that she was like, oh, hey, Suzanne's coming, you should have said, oh, by the way, I bumped into her.
But he thinks if he says something now, she'll wonder why he didn't tell her in the first place.
She's going to wonder that anyway, Todd.
So he decides to keep it a secret.
Which is lucky for him, because Suzanne could let that slip immediately.
I know.
For all he knows. Like, he's no idea.
Elizabeth isn't sleeping well that night. Jessica's keeping her awake, babbling about how she's had nothing but chronic aggravation for the last few days. Lila's at a spa, toning her thighs for $300 per day.
Yes, she's staying at La Venue. Which is apparently where celebrities go when they've put on a few pounds over at Thanksgiving.
She's preparing for Miss Christmas time.
Yes, apparently she's getting ultraviolet treatments.
And Jessica says nobody will be able to see Lila's glowing complexion underneath all that green face paint when she's an elf. Liz tells her that Lila should find out how Suzanne lost so much weight. And Jessica says she probably lost it by being evil, crafty, and manipulative.
Well,
if that was the case, Jessica would be wasting away by now.
Well, I was going to say, I actually put a note here saying that explains why the twins were perfect size 6.
Yeah.
Because both of them, I think both of them have been like manipulative, evil, and crafty.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The next day, Elizabeth goes downstairs without waking Jess up because she thinks poor Suzanne deserves a problem-free breakfast. Poor Suzanne.
Poor Suzanne.
Suzanne's jumpy when Elizabeth goes down. She's by the sink with a glass of water and a bottle of pills in her hand, which she quickly slips into her dressing gown pocket.
Yeah. Liz offers Suzanne some breakfast, and Suzanne's really pleased and says that she wants to apologise.
Yeah. She says, I know I was a perfect beast.
A perfect beast.
Who talks like that?
It's interesting, yeah, it's an interesting use of language.
And Liz is like, well, it's all fine. We're all happy you're here.
It's not all fine.
I know.
Not at all.
And then Suzanne brings up Mr. Collins and Elizabeth changes the subject and asks her if she wants milk on her cereal. It's like, wouldn't it be a bit weird to have it dry, wouldn't it?
It would be a bit weird to have it dry, and also it's a bit
weird.
Nah,
just want a bowl of dry cereal, thanks.
Yeah, just want to eat some cereal.
And yeah, Suzanne carries on about Mr. Collins and she uses her parents as an excuse again.
Yep.
Like, I just can't sympathise with this.
No, me either. This is not a valid excuse to ruin someone's life.
Elizabeth can't bear to hear her say Mr. Collins' name and thinks she'll never be able to forgive her for what she did to him. Well, why are you feeling sorry for her and being so nice?
Yeah,
then?
you already kind of have forgiven her.
You're thinking you're not forgiving her, but you're telling her that you're happy she's here and everything's
your
fine.
actions are doing the opposite.
And trying to prevent Jessica from carrying out the plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, luckily, Jessica turns up and basically almost immediately makes out like she might have stolen her blouse.
Yeah, her cream silk blouse.
From Lisette's.
Yeah. Liz glares at Jessica. She goes upstairs to dry her hair and leaves Jessica alone with Suzanne. And Suzanne brings up Pete.
Oh yeah, this is where she blames his attempted assault on his parents treating him like shit.
Yeah. She explains, she's like, he's got trouble with his parents too. He's not usually like that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And Jessica again says, we don't see behaviour like this out in the sticks.
You do, though.
And again, all the damn time
Actually
you do.
Scott, Bruce Patman.
There's been more, I just can't
There has
think
been
of
more.
them.
Those are just the two worst examples.
Rick,
yeah.
how could we forget? First episode, Rick
Double
Andover.
love. Yeah.
With his sloppy kisses.
Oh.
Hey there, heaven.
Oh, yeah.
Which way to Mars? Best chat up line ever.
The chat up line that started Sweet Valley.
Stephen comes down and they shut up about it because obviously Jessica doesn't want him to know.
No, of course.
Jessica goes to answer the door. She comes back in shrieking that her secret Santa has sent her another gift.
Yeah, she comes in shouting daisies.
Daisies. And Suzanne doesn't know what a secret Santa is.
I know.
You're from New York, really?
The last time Ned didn't know what drawing straws was.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so confused that like people in Sweet Valley just don't know anything. Oh no, this is Suzanne as well.
Yeah,
she's
she's
like
from
surely
worldly
Secret
New York.
Santa happens in New York.
She's been to
Suzanne.
school all over the world, apparently.
Yeah. Well, she didn't know about Secret Santa, and she needs Stephen to explain it to her.
Mm. And Jessica snips the stems off of her daisies, and she says, "These daisies are so beautiful, but I forget they have thorns."
Yeah,
and then she makes really intense eye contact with Suzanne as she snips off the ends.
Yeah, I imagine she did that thing with her fingers as well, you know, when she pointed at her eyes and pointed at her eyes.
Yeah. And Suzanne's feeling a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's deserved, though.
Liz calls Jessica upstairs to ask if she's seen her blue sweater. Todd's on his way over and she's panicking. Jessica offers to lend her leather pants, but Liz says, no, just stick to khakis.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I don't want...
Ew.
She's like, I wouldn't want Todd to think that I've gained a personality.
Yeah. Wouldn't want to actually look like I've made an effort.
Yeah, I don't want to make too much effort.
Just give me these disgusting khakis to put
Yeah,
on.
it's fine.
The first time I've seen my boyfriend in months. They talk about Suzanne, and Jessica says she wants Suzanne gone by Friday night, and she's going to make sure that she ends up begging to be on the next flight to Switzerland.
Yeah, Liz says that she's worried that they're giving Suzanne a nervous breakdown. You know, and Jess basically says, I've seen the pills.
Yeah, she says Suzanne's got 137 kinds of pills in her makeup bag. And it might explain why she's so thin.
Yeah, she's a pill popper. Half a medicine bag.
Did you catch that 137?
I did. There's another one in a bit as well.
There is. I feel like we haven't had the 137.
It's been a while, hasn't
couple
it?
of bits.
I was thinking that. It was quite refreshing.
It's nice that they're back.
It's good.
Elizabeth says Jessica does have a point. And Jessica says, we've obviously got a hysterical, deviant drug addict on our hands.
Yeah, I couldn't believe this. Liz has gone from like, oh, maybe we should lay off, to like, oh no. Like, and I love neither of them, and this continues through the book. None of them for one moment consider that this might be medicine. They're like, she's on drugs. And to the point that Liz, I had to reread this because I thought it might be Jessica, but Liz says, you're right, we shouldn't leave her down there for too long on our own. We need to go
down. What do
down.
they think she's going to do? Like
steal everything.
Steal everything.
But it's also
money.
like Stephen's down there as well. It's like she's going to start stealing stuff.
They
in front
rush
of
back
Stephen.
downstairs.
No.
But she's fine. She's just chatting to Stephen about the Christmas dance. And Stephen is telling her that she should come along.
To the Christmas party.
And he tells her about the parade.
I know, it's like
Fucking
basically
idiot.
he says about the Christmas party and Jess gives him like daggers and then he just continues. He's like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh well.
Why would she want to go to that anyway though?
I know.
It's going to be all the people that she was humiliated in front of last time.
Yeah, A, the people that she was humiliated in front of, and B, the people that hate her. It's like, surely if you were going to try and make it up to people, you do them one at a time.
Yeah, I
you
would
be like,
not
hey,
be
let's
going
see
to that
everyone.
party. But she says she'd love to see some of the twins' friends again, especially Aaron. She's got some fucking nerve.
She really does.
Stephen says Jessica's going to be an elf in the parade. And Jessica goes mad, and she says Lila's the elf. I'm going to be Miss Christmas Time.
Yes, but then the doorbell rings.
Oh, firstly as well, Suzanne asks if Jessica won a contest to be Miss Christmas Time.
Oh, yeah.
And she snaps, actually, I spent the day wearing a garbage bag. Suzanne's horrified.
Yeah.
And Jen and Jessica screams, it's none of your business. Yeah, then as you said, the doorbell arrives and it's Todd.
Oh boy.
He's looking hot in some tan chino pants.
Yeah, he looks
Their
amazing.
dress sense.
I know.
Yeah.
He immediately gives Liz a big old bear hug. And apparently, even Jessica is jumping up and down. She's so happy to see Todd.
Weird, but okay.
Won't last.
Suzanne comes into the hallway holding Jessica's daisies in a vase, and she gasps when she sees Todd. She starts trembling violently.
So much so that the vase falls from her hands and smashes onto the floor.
She bursts into tears and she runs away. That's a very extreme reaction.
Well, the thing is, we know that they have some history, but this is not a I almost kissed you or you almost kissed me reaction. This is like a you assaulted me reaction.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, this is like a horror. Like, she's
And she
like
shouldn't be that
shocked.
surprised to see him. She does know that he's from Sweet Valley as well.
And that he dates Liz.
Yeah.
Like, it's not inconceivable that he might be visiting his family at Christmas.
She has the most
and
extreme reaction ever.
it's ridiculous. But one for the tick box. It's another example of someone going red and running away.
And Todd plays innocent and he says, "Do I look that terrible?" Probably the tan chinos, Todd. Yes, you do.
Yeah,
Terrible.
you do. And also, what the fuck, Todd? Like, this is the time to explain for sure.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I don't know what's
he's
wrong
like,
with her."
I don't know. What a weirdo.
When Suzanne comes back down, she apologises and she says, "I've been getting dizzy spells lately." And Jessica thinks to herself, "That's what happens when you swallow half a medicine cabinet with your morning coffee." And Elizabeth... Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say what you were going to say.
You don't know what I was going to say.
You were going to say that Elizabeth realises that she's wet from the flowers and says that she needs to go and change before they go to see Winston.
And Stephen takes off as well. Jessica follows Stephen out and she goes on about Suzanne being a druggie.
Yeah, Stephen actually comes to her defence and says they should probably lay off.
Yeah.
And
Stephen and Liz are just letting...
they're doormats. They're absolute doormats. And Stephen heads out to the garage to get in the car.
I like how you said the American way then.
Garage.
We say garage.
We
over
say
here.
garage over here, yeah. As Todd joins Suzanne in the kitchen.
Yeah, Todd asks Suzanne not to tell anyone that they ran into each other at Killington. And she says she'll do whatever Todd thinks is best. Jessica overhears this and immediately assumes they're in love.
Yeah.
She's
to be
furious.
honest, it does kind of...
It does sound
like,
bad.
Todd not saying anything absolutely adds credence to this. It's like, well, you obviously have a secret because you didn't just say it.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Jessica vows that she's going to get Suzanne.
Yeah.
Even more than she was going to get her before.
Yeah, now she's like, no, she's definitely going to. She even, she thinks, that sneaky, conniving rat. First she stole my sister's necklace, and now she's stealing her boyfriend too.
Like he has no say in this.
No, he's completely... Well, it does then say... Jess does, like, pretty much think, like, she's always suspected that deep down Todd was a piece of shit. And, you know, but she obviously can't just blame Todd. Suzanne is the one, you know, manipulating this.
Yeah.
It's definitely more Suzanne than Todd, as far as Jess is concerned.
We cut to the beach where Jessica has summoned Winston and Aaron for an emergency meeting.
That's like the best kind of, like, imagine that. It's like an emergency meeting. It's like, oh, okay, where are we going to meet? The beach. Oh, that's pretty nice. That's a nice place for a meeting.
She tells them Suzanne's a druggie who carries 137 types of pills around, and
There
she's
we
high
go.
all the time.
There it is.
And she keeps being rude about Sweet Valley. So basically she's just lying.
Yeah, but she won't... She's trying to defend or protect Liz a little, so she refuses to say about Todd.
Yeah, so she wants them to, you know, be as angry as she is, but she doesn't want to say what really
Exactly what's
happened.
going on. Yeah.
She tells an even bigger lie then. She says that Suzanne said that all the guys in Sweet Valley are gross and they don't know how to keep a girl happy.
Aaron goes so over the top here.
It's like, I've heard enough.
He's like, I can't stand to hear another moment of people telling me that I'm not a man.
Well, he's got some issues and some underlying issues.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Sweet Valley Confidential.
Oh, boy.
You find out something about Aaron.
Oh.
He may have problems maybe with his masculinity.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think it is Aaron.
Wow.
So, Winston says... Winston says he's willing to do anything to get rid of Suzanne. sounds like he's saying he's going to murder her.
Pretty much
Get
does,
rid
yeah.
of her.
Yeah, he's going to get
I'll
rid
do
of her.
anything. I'll be your hitman. Jessica asks them to be Suzanne's secret Santas, but to do terrible things to her.
Yeah.
And they love this idea. So it's on Plan C.
Yeah. Can you tell me, because I'm sure you've got this written down. The next day, maybe, or later that day, Jess is by the pool and she's having a dream. Have you got this written down? The dream that
Yes,
Jessica's
I have.
having?
Yeah.
'Cause this is amazing.
So her dream is about Hans dancing with her in the Patman's ballroom.
Yeah.
And he's telling her how beautiful she is. And then Lila appears in an elf suit, hands her a crown and says, "You've won."
It also says that she's had a drastic haircut, but it suits her.
Yeah. I want to know what this drastic
So
haircut
do I.
was.
I'm like, what is this haircut?
And then she's disturbed by Stephen pouring cold water onto her neck
Yeah.
and demanding she helps him make dinner.
No, this is awful as well, because, like, Jess is like, why the hell are you waking me up? Why don't you go and get Suzanne to do it? And he's like,
Yeah.
well, I couldn't get Suzanne to do it because Suzanne's asleep. And Jess is like, so was I. You just woke me up. Why don't you wake Suzanne up?
Well, apparently Suzanne got dizzy earlier and nearly fell down the stairs.
Oh, but Jessica doesn't believe any of that. She
No.
says you've been watching too many soap operas, Steve.
She says Suzanne's poison and you'll find out what she's like soon enough.
Again, we're like, God, we're well over 150 pages into this book at this point, and still no one has considered that just maybe she's ill. Doesn't even cross their mind.
On Tuesday, Elizabeth gets back from the mall. She's bought gifts for everyone apart from Todd, who she's still panicking about.
Yeah. She did manage to get a record for Stephen from Discount Discs, though.
Wow. The record from the record shop.
The record from the record
The
shop.
CD shop. So, apparently, her and Todd hadn't spent much time alone together yet. He promised her last night that they would, but Ken had insisted they pop into the beach disco, and when they got there, Ken had organised a surprise welcome home party for Todd.
How did they not tell Liz that
Yeah,
was
like,
happening?
wouldn't he have told Todd's girlfriend and got her in on this
I would
plan?
have thought so, but apparently not.
The Droids have written and performed a song all about Elizabeth and Todd called I'll Wait For You.
Yeah, she thinks that it's not Todd's fault that he's so popular.
Poor Todd. Everyone wants a piece of him all night. That was the last. They danced to the Droids song, and that was the last you saw of him.
Yeah.
But that night he's going to pop in to see the Wakefields later, so she plans to go for a walk with him then and have a talk about where she stands. She finds Suzanne in the kitchen looking white as a sheet and holding a red envelope.
Oh no. What does it say?
So she shows Liz a note made from cut out newspaper letters, and it said, "Susie Devlin, go home from your secret Santas." This sounds like the same note as...
I was going to say, I was really
in our
hoping
last Casey's
there'd be like a really
episode.
dodgy unicorn drawing at the bottom.
Yeah, that one said, "You don't belong in Sweet Valley, get out," or something.
You and your brother
To-
don't belong
to
here.
poor Sophie
Get
and
out of
Rizzo.
Sweet Valley.
In
Yeah.
our last Casey's Ice Cream Parlour episode.
Yeah. It's weird how like they're two separate book series, but sometimes they kind of synchronize in weird ways.
Yeah. So Liz calms Suzanne down and makes her some tea.
Yeah.
And Suzanne admits to Liz she was jealous of her last time she visited.
Mm-hmm.
And she gives this really long sob story about her family have money, but they never spent time with her. It's like a really standard poor rich kid story.
Yeah, so
Really?
that absolutely justifies her stealing things, treating everyone like shit, and accusing a teacher of attempted rape.
Yeah.
Because her
And-
parents didn't give her enough attention.
And Liz says, "I'm beginning to understand, but I'm not sure that everyone else will."
I'm not beginning to understand. This still doesn't.
No, I'm not either.
It still is not an excuse for what she did.
Are we being too harsh?
She could have literally ruined that man's.
Are we the only
career,
people reading this
life.
book who still hate Suzanne? Or are you guys all reading it and thinking, yeah, you know, I'm on her side now. I want to know.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Are we
'cause-
just horrible people?
Well, I don't know. I just can't. I just think back to what she did to
I
Mr.
know.
Collins, and I think back to poor Teddy.
Yeah, we read Too Good to Be True pretty recently. So
We did, yeah. It was very
it's quite
recent.
fresh in
It's
our
very raw.
minds.
It's very raw.
It is raw for us. Whereas,
We haven't seen Teddy since. We don't know how Teddy is.
Yeah, after he was all blotchy on the sofa crying because she wouldn't watch TV with him.
Poor Teddy.
And then Suzanne says, "Well, I'm going to call Aaron and I'm going to offer to take him to lunch tomorrow."
And Liz, like, thinks
Sure.
there's no way he's going to agree to this, but I'm not going to say anything and just let her do it anyway.
And then when Jessica gets home, she finds Elizabeth reading by the pool. She asks her where the devil is, and Liz says she's taking another nap. And Jess is like, I told you she was a druggie.
But finally, Liz considers maybe Suzanne's ill. It finally dawns on her. But yeah, you're right. Jess is like, she's a junkie, and it's all a lie.
And Elizabeth tells her about Suzanne's invitation to take Aaron out to lunch. And Jessica says, is she going to poison him? And she also asks if Patsy's heard about this.
Yeah.
And Liz is like, well, it's not a date. And Jessica calls Liz gullible. And says Suzanne's obviously trying to seduce Aaron.
Yeah.
Jessica calls Aaron and she tells him Suzanne's a complete lunatic. And she's told Liz that she's trying to steal him away from Patsy. And he's got to do something.
Yeah.
Because apparently Patsy is notorious for getting jealous.
Yeah, I was thinking this. I think she got really jealous before, didn't she, Patsy? Or is that someone else I'm thinking of?
No, Liz was jealous of her before.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I knew there was jealousy involved.
Because, yeah, I thought for someone who gets jealous easily, she wasn't very sympathetic towards Liz when
No.
Liz's boyfriend was rubbing sun cream into her back at the
Yeah.
Wakefield pool.
Yeah.
And she was spending all of her time with Todd. Like, if she was a jealous person herself, surely she'd be like, I can understand why Elizabeth might be uncomfortable.
Yeah,
with this,
like,
I'll
oh, I
back
feel
off.
the same way, yeah.
No, she was all over Todd.
She was.
So, yeah, obviously not very, empathetic person.
No, clearly not.
But Jessica's got a new plan.
Mm-hmm.
So she wants Aaron to call Suzanne back and tell her he'd love to spend some time with her, but he's just too busy for lunch. So she wants him to suggest that they can go to the Christmas dance together. But this is so complicated, this plan.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead.
He has to say that his cousin's got this pre-party to go to before Bruce Patman's party, and he's going to take Suzanne to the pre-party, but it's a small party, so Suzanne can't tell Jessica or Liz about it. It has to be a secret because he doesn't want to upset them. Then, on the day, at the very last minute, he has to phone Suzanne and say that he's got a flat tire, so can she come and pick him up? And he'll give her the address that he's at. And then she's going to go up there and find nothing. Because basically, the plan is to send her to Forest Road up to an old creepy house that's supposedly haunted. Is it the Ghost in the Graveyard house?
Oh, didn't that have a name, that house?
I couldn't remember.
Can't remember. I think it does.
I remember the name of the road, but yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe it's that
Oh,
house.
that'd be cool
But
if it was.
It would be nice, but I wasn't sure.
So he's
Aaron-
a bit worried.
Yeah, he is.
He's
He
like-
actually is. Like, I don't want to kill her.
Yeah,
like,
like,
I
you
don't
can't
like
just
her,
have
but...
a young girl driving alone to a deserted house in a desert part of town.
Yeah.
But Jess is like, don't be silly. She's just going to drive there,
And realise no
be
one likes her.
humiliated,
Yeah.
and drive back.
Mm-hmm.
So he agrees to do it, and he says to Jessica that she should go into politics because she's so good at getting people on her side.
Yeah, Jess
That's
thinks...
a scary thought.
That is a scary thought, but it makes Jessica think that Aaron's more intelligent than she thought.
He's so more intelligent than I thought because he sees me
As
sees how
manipulative.
brilliant I am.
Yeah.
So later on, he calls Suzanne and he invents a cocktail party that his cousin Eddie's throwing. And she's really happy he's invited her. Why doesn't Suzanne question why
Any
he
of
isn't
it.
going with his girlfriend?
Yeah.
Apparently, she doesn't want to take him away from Patsy, but
No, she's not interested in him romantically, but she wants
surely
to be
she'd
friends
be like,
with him.
where's your girlfriend?
Yeah. I mean, maybe she doesn't know that he's got a girlfriend,
Yeah.
I guess. It's not been, like, mentioned to her,
Yeah,
I
actually.
suppose.
So then we get inside of her head. She shivers, and she remembers how Dr. Franklin had warned her that the medication she's on wouldn't help with this. She wonders if she's doing the right thing by not telling anyone. But like she told Ned and Alice, she doesn't want pity. So it's still this mystery illness.
Yeah, we still don't know what it is,
she
but we know
has.
she's taking medication, she's getting dizzy spells and feeling faint.
Later on in the living room, Todd's in there with everybody, and he's acting really fucking weird towards Suzanne.
Yes, and Liz is
noticed.
noticing. Liz is like, she can't help but notice how weird Todd is around Suzanne.
So she takes him for a walk. Speaking like he's a dog there. She took him out for a walk. Walkies.
Off the lead.
And then she asks why he's acting weird, and he says, "You're the one who's acting weird." And basically like gaslights her. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
he
not
does
acting
gaslight
weird,
her.
you
No,
are.
You're absolutely right. He absolutely gaslights her.
And then they get into an argument, but they make up really quickly.
They promise to never argue ever again.
That's always a sensible, good promise to make.
A sensible promise to make. And then Liz goes home, gets into bed, and almost immediately regrets making this promise because she then starts thinking, hang on a minute, he didn't say anything about Suzanne or apologise for the way he was with Suzanne. So I actually kind of want to have an argument with her.
Just turned it around on her.
Yeah, he gaslit her, you're right.
And then on Wednesday, the twins and Suzanne go grocery shopping together. And she tells him she's never had a Christmas dinner before.
Oh.
Don't start feeling sorry for her. Come on. Keep it together. She says her family are always on vacation. And how strange it is to have Christmas in warm places. For some reason, Jessica gets really offended by this.
Yeah.
And she's like, some of us always have Christmas in warm locations.
Yeah. And Suzanne's just like, oh, I always put my foot in it.
And then she asks if they can stop by the post office, if she can pick up a package. And Jessica's mean about this too, even though it's only 1 block away.
But it's a block away in the wrong direction.
And it says that Jessica swore under her breath.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I wonder what she said.
I don't know. What do you reckon she would have said? What swear word do you think she would have used?
I don't know.
I think she would have just been like, bitch.
They say bitch in these books, though, don't they? Anyway.
That's true. What do you think is more harsh?
It's got to be something harsh for us not even to be told what it is.
Yeah, we're not allowed to know.
I reckon it's cunt.
Do you know, I thought that, and I was like, I'm not going to be the one to say it, though.
No, you know me. I'll just say it. So, yeah, swear word in Sweet Valley.
Yeah.
And then when Suzanne gets the package...
they notice it's really small.
Yeah, it's tiny, and Jessica asks what it is, and she doesn't tell them.
Yeah, but Liz notices that as she puts it in her pocket, she can see her hands are trembling.
Bloody junkie.
Bloody junkie getting her fix from the post office.
Yeah, because that's how drug dealers, deal
work.
drugs.
They use the...
they just use the American Postal Service. Just
yeah,
send it through.
American Express. Was it American Express? No, that's a credit card. I don't know.
Yeah.
UPS or something.
Yeah. And then as soon as they get home, she runs upstairs with the package.
Yeah. And,
And then Liz tells Jess she's genuinely frightened that something's wrong with Suzanne.
Yeah, but Jess is having none of it. Like, none of it.
But Liz says to Jessica she's off to the mall with Enid, and she asks Jessica to keep an eye on her.
Jessica finally has a moment where she's like, oh my God, what if Liz is right?
Yeah, she does start to feel a little bit guilty.
She does have this moment of guilt, and she's like, maybe I should call it off, because, what if she dies?
Like, maybe I should call Aaron and Winston and call them off.
Yeah.
But when Liz is gone, the phone rings, and she answers it at the same time as Suzanne does.
And luckily doesn't say anything.
Yeah, it's Todd. So she's listening on the extension, and she hears Todd tell Suzanne he's glad he's got her alone.
Yeah.
And he's sorry that he's been off with her. Suzanne tells Todd she was surprised after that day in Killington.
Yeah.
And he apologises for asking her not to tell Liz about it.
Yeah, so she hears specifically about Suzanne inviting Todd back to the lodge with her alone.
Yeah. And Todd tells Suzanne it was one of the best afternoons he's had in years.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bit much, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a bit much.
So Jess is obviously now convinced that Suzanne has only come back to Sweet Valley for Todd, and she's shaking with rage.
Yeah, her decision to cancel the Aaron thing lasted less than a minute.
Yeah.
It's
like, no,
okay,
fuck it now. Plan back on.
Plan's back on.
We cut to Casey's.
Yeah.
With Enid and Liz. And guess what? Liz has finally bought Todd's present.
Well, given that a wallet was too extravagant, what has she bought?
It's a scarf.
Wow. because she thinks it's cold in Vermont, so he'll need a scarf.
And she says to Enid, she's so insulting to Enid in this bit. She says to Enid, "One look at you and my problems don't seem so bad."
Yeah.
And Enid's like, "Is that because you're thinking, at least I don't look like her?" And rather than saying no, Elizabeth says, "Not exactly."
Not exactly. Gonna leave that a little vague.
What a good friend.
Brilliant.
And Enid says, "What could possibly be wrong now that Todd's back?" Like nothing else could matter apart from Todd being back.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got a guy in your life, everything else must be fine.
Yeah.
You know, there can be anything else
What
wrong
else?
with you.
There's nothing wrong with you if you've got a boyfriend.
What else
That's
is there
it.
to live for? In
Exactly.
society, you know?
There's no problems.
But Liz says that the spark between them is gone.
Yeah, she says that you know, Enid's like Enid can't believe it. They always seem like the perfect couple. But
Enid's
Liz,
like obsessed with Liz and Todd, isn't
she
she?
is. Yeah, she absolutely loves them as a couple.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, you're the best thing ever.
You're so amazing.
You're bread
oh my
and
God,
butter.
bread and butter.
But Liz says that she thinks, you know, they were just really lucky because everything went their way, which is why they lasted so long. But then I made a note here saying, like, they still managed to fucking argue and break up in every single book.
Yeah.
Like, it's not
And
been
everything
smooth
didn't
for them,
really
has
go
it?
their way, did it?
No. Well, they literally argue all the time.
Yeah.
And now, like, and there's jealousy and they think they're cheating on each other and there's like
Yeah.
constant, like, mistrust is a constant for them in their relationship.
And like not telling each other things and getting into massive misunderstandings, which could be cleared up in 10 seconds.
I'd say they've got
If
a
they
very
just
unhealthy
communicated.
relationship.
They
Yeah,
don't communicate.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Enid asks her, like Jessica did, how Elizabeth would feel if Todd found someone else.
Yeah.
And she says she'd be delighted. Like, come on.
That is weird. A weird,
You might say, oh,
word
I
to
won't
use.
be happy, but I'd be okay.
or I'd be happy for him.
But, yeah, apparently
Not
she'd
delighted.
be delighted. And she says she wants to dump him, but she's worried because she thinks she's so fucking amazing that he
That
just
he'll
won't
never
be
get
able, he
over
won't
it.
be able to let go of her. And he
Who
won't be
could
able to get over
compare
her.
to Elizabeth Wakefield?
Yeah, she literally thinks that.
I know.
She
Yeah.
says
She says it.
Yeah,
it's
she
not
says
even.
it.
That's not even in her mind. She's happy enough to say that
Yeah.
out loud.
She says, I'm worried he just won't be able to let go of me.
Well, we'll see.
Little does she know.
Yeah,
you know.
we'll see.
On Thursday, Jessica is excited because she's going to hear the Messiah performed at the Civic Centre by the Sweet Valley Choir.
Yes, Lila is also back from her spa holiday and looks great. She's lost weight, maybe doing some pills. That would normally make Jess furious, of course, but she's excited because it means she can start to put her evil plan into motion.
And also, it's a Wakefield tradition that they go to this Civic Centre thing.
Yeah,
And they always decorate the tree before they go. And this year they've got an 8-foot one.
that's a
pretty
big
big.
tree.
And she's also happy because she's received the best Secret Santa gift so far. It's a menu from a new gourmet restaurant called Second Season. And a note entitling her to go to the restaurant with a date of her choice, as long as the date of her choice is me. That's what it says on the note.
Now, this raises a question. How is she supposed to provide a date to the Secret Santa? I guess you'd have to wait until it's revealed who it is, and then you're stuck. It's kind of a blackmaily and awkward, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, well, I'm forcing you into a date.
You have to
with
come
me.
to this meal
She
with me.
probably should have realised it's probably Winston at this point. It's a very Winston thing to write.
Well, she thinks that it must be from someone refined,
Well,
like Hans.
It must be Hans, yeah.
Lila's been getting some pretty decent gifts too.
Yes, second only to Jess's.
She's got a Vogue magazine and some fancy perfume, plus a note promising her a homemade gourmet dinner.
Ooh.
And Jessica's like, well, she's probably got someone's shit though.
Yeah, not like Hans.
She's in the kitchen cooking dinner for everybody, and she starts reminiscing with Liz about their Christmas ornaments.
Yeah.
And Suzanne is also there, and she feels lonely. She remembers all the Christmases she spent in hotel rooms, and her eyes fill with tears.
Yeah, it sounds like she's got a bit of a drunk father, drinks too much, and they're always in a hotel somewhere. She's never had like a family Christmas at home, basically.
Jessica gives her a strange look and says, maybe you should go into the living room. And the reason she gives
This
for
is the
Suzanne
worst
going to the
reason
living room
ever.
is bizarre. She says, maybe you should go into the living room because I'm about to drain the spaghetti and I don't want to burn anyone. Like, how much spaghetti is she draining?
Well, and
they're in a big kitchen.
How much mess is she going to make? How much, like, splashing is going to happen from the spaghetti?
How clumsy is she? Like, you don't have to evacuate a room when you drain some fucking pasta, do you? Like, I'm about to drain the pasta. Everybody out. I don't want any accidents.
I'm assuming she said it partly to be like, clearly I'm telling you to fuck off. You know, like, that's the only reason I can think of.
Yeah, Suzanne knows that Jessica means fuck off.
Yeah.
So she thinks to herself, at least Aaron cares about me.
Yeah.
And then after dinner, Alice insists that Suzanne helps decorate the tree.
Yeah, because she's never decorated a tree before.
And the family argue because Ned wants to stick to just blue and silver decorations. How boring.
Well,
I hate
again,
those people.
This is where we agree. We agree with the twins.
We agree.
All the colours.
All the way.
It should be all the colours.
I hate, like, colour coordinated trees.
Yeah, trees should be garish. That's how I feel about Christmas trees. And Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
In general, I think it should be all the colours, all the different things.
Yeah, and just all chucked on.
There's nothing worse for me, personally, each to their own, but just that white Christmas tree. It's like, oh, no. I need some colour on there. You know?
And I also hate it when it's all round ornaments.
Yeah.
Like, mine are very
Everything.
crazy.
Yeah.
I've got little jumpers.
Yeah.
I've got, like,
cats.
candy canes, cats. Yeah.
Alpacas.
Yeah, I've got an alpaca.
All sorts.
And Suzanne has never decorated a tree before, so Ned is speaking to her like she's 5.
Yeah, he's like, this is how you hoop it on.
Yeah. Stephen finds an ornament he's never seen before, and Ned says, that was my grandmother's. And then he asks Suzanne if she'd like to be the one to hang it.
Hey, you've got dizzy spells. Would you like to climb up here and hang this onto the tree?
Also, that's a bit much, because it's obviously a sentimental thing.
Yeah.
It's like, you person that isn't a member of our family, you should be the one to hang this.
Thief and liar.
Yeah.
Please take this this
Like, even
priceless Christmas ornament.
Even Suzanne feels a bit awkward then. But then she gets dizzy and she collapses.
And Jessica screams.
A bit later on, she's gone upstairs and Ned says to them that they're all going to have to skip the Messiah performance so they can stay at home with Suzanne.
Yeah, they're all really worried, apart from Jessica, who's on the other side of the room and is convinced that it's all fake. Apparently it sounds a bit far-fetched, and she's going to go through with the plan with Aaron no matter what.
Yeah, but Ned tells them that Suzanne has got a problem with muscular control, which is aggravated by stress.
Yeah.
And Stephen says to Ned, look, just level with her, say what's wrong with her. And Ned tells Alice to deal with it and just walks away.
Of course. And Alice is like, I'm going to do a Liz here and only tell you part of it and not give you the whole truth.
Yeah, and
it's like, oh, I promised. It's a very Liz thing to do. That like, oh, I promised not to say anything. I'm going to tell you something, but not enough.
And Jessica thinks that Suzanne's probably lied to them and made up some kind of weird soap opera disease. But she's no fool. And soon, it'll all be over when Aaron comes up with when Aaron carries out the plan.
Yeah.
Cut to the night of the party.
Yeah, Suzanne's getting ready for her date.
She's never looked so beautiful in her entire life, apparently, even though she's really ill.
Yeah.
But she's one of those people, she still looks amazing when she's ill.
Yeah.
She's borrowed a blue velvet dress from Elizabeth with a high neck and cream lace edges, and she's completed the look with a pearl necklace. She sounds like she's going to some kind of Charles Dickens party or
I was
something.
just thinking that. It does sound a bit like Victorian or something.
You know, it's some kind of fancy dress thing.
Yeah.
Sounds like, well,
She's going to Bruce Patman's party.
You know, Liz is into all of her, Great Expectations and stuff.
I'm surprised she's not in like a khaki
novels.
dress with like...
Yeah, it's about Liz is in her khakis.
Yeah.
She's opened the package she's collected from the post office, and as we all guessed by now, it's a little bottle of medicine.
Yeah.
Her doctor usually includes a note with her medicine to let her know what she could and couldn't do with it.
Yeah.
Because she gets confused about all the different ones. But that should be fucking standard.
Well,
like
that should
in
be
the
on
UK,
the bottle.
Yeah, in the UK, every time we get a medication,
You get
a
you get
leaflet
it.
or a
It's usually
printer
on
on
the
the
outside
bottle.
of the packet.
Yeah.
Like, can and can't do. And also, it will
I'm
be
sure you
written on the
probably do
bottle.
in America as well.
I would have
It's
thought
probably
so.
just a stupid thing in this book.
So he's forgotten to put it in there, apparently. But surely it's on the bottle. Like if you read the bottle, it will
He's
still
forgotten
tell
to
you.
label it.
We should just here have this, but here have this
This
bottle,
unlabeled medication.
unlabeled
What
bottle.
a bad doctor.
Yeah. Well, we all know about doctors in Sweet Valley High.
We do,
so
and we're about to find out even more.
we are indeed.
Although he's not a doctor in Sweet Valley, he's a New York
No,
doctor.
no. I just mean in the books in
Yeah.
general, like
Yeah.
doctors in general.
So she tries calling him and she gets no answer, so she leaves a message asking him to call her back.
And then she thinks, "Fuck it, it'll be fine."
Yeah.
just drink it. It's alright.
Aaron's arriving in 20 minutes, so she just takes a pill. She thinks, oh, they're probably not much different from the last ones I was on. Because apparently they are like sort of experimenting with different meds at the moment to work out which ones can help her condition.
Yes, but by the very nature of them experimenting with different drugs would mean that they absolutely are different to the drugs you had
Yeah.
last time. Like that's they're trying different things. But never mind, she thinks it'll be alright.
Downstairs, Ned and Alice have gone to get pissed with the neighbours.
They're busy
basically.
being absent parents as always.
They've gone to get drunk with the neighbours, and they've left their underage kids alone in the house with a bottle of champagne.
With a girl who just passed out.
Yeah.
You
They're
know.
like, here, just stay here with this alcohol that we're going to give you. You're all underage. We'll leave you with this sick girl as well.
Who's on like 10 different kinds
Yeah.
of medication. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Suzanne goes downstairs and they all gasp at how amazing she looks. And then Liz offers her a drink. She hesitates, but then she thinks a glass or two will probably be fine.
Yeah, she's like, oh, the doctor's never told me not to drink before, so I'm sure I'll be fine to drink with this medication I've just taken.
Yeah, that I know nothing. I don't even know
I
what
don't
it
even
is.
know what it is, yeah.
And then, as planned, Aaron calls and asks her to meet him at Forest Lane.
Oh boy.
So she asks the twins if she can borrow the Fiat, and she explains what's happened. Elizabeth wonders why Suzanne hadn't mentioned before that she was going to the party with Aaron.
Yes, and she's also a bit suspicious because Jessica's very keen for her to take the Fiat. She's like, yeah, go for it.
And Todd says something's not right here.
Yeah.
Todd's playing detective again.
Yeah, here we go.
He's going to stalk her around. And then Ned and Alice gets home and the phone rings. It's Suzanne's doctor. Elizabeth answers and she notices the pad next to the phone has got the Forest Lane address scribbled down on it.
Yeah.
She thinks that's a bit weird.
Ned takes the call, and then shortly after he tells the twins that Suzanne is totally screwed if she drinks. It
Yeah.
could even kill her, according
Yeah.
to the doctor. So he's like, you know that booze that I gave you all to drink? You didn't give it to her, did you?
Yeah. One glass of alcohol could actually kill her, apparently.
Apparently
That
so.
sounds very extreme. I've never had a medication that has got that.
Not that extreme, no. But
Like,
that,
it can make you
I mean,
drowsy, it can...
Yeah. And you wouldn't want to drink a bottle of it. But maybe that is the case. But that is all more to the point why Ned and Alice should have goddamn been there.
So Jessica comes clean.
Wouldn't you get the
now.
neighbours to come to your house instead and say, like, look...
Yeah, we've
one
got
of
all
our-
these teenagers in our house.
Like, yeah, we'll
you know.
just, like, could you come over? Because they'll be going out anyway.
Also,
in a
they're
few
all about
hours.
to go out. You wouldn't give them alcohol before they were going out, would you?
I wouldn't have thought so.
They're such bad parents.
They're awful. They really are awful.
So Jessica decides to come clean now, because she's obviously worried, and she tells them all about the prank.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Suzanne's driving and her vision keeps blurring.
She starts feeling really tired.
She's falling asleep at the wheel. Luckily, 2 police officers are just driving by.
They don't seem too bothered about it. They're like, oh,
No.
look, this car's like swerving from side to side.
Yeah,
They're
they
like,
spot us
well,
skidding
someone can't
around.
handle their booze.
Yeah, that's what they
They're
say.
like literally like, eh, whatever.
Like, you need to... Yeah, there's like a
Maybe
drunk-
like turn the lights on to try and stop them
Yeah.
before it flips horribly and crashes.
Yeah, they just watch the Fiat bump off of the road and turn onto its side.
Yeah. Now, the oh God. So the police are like, one of the policemen even thinks like, oh, I don't know what this person looked like before, but I'd hate to see what they look like now. So like, this is a hideous crash. This just happened,
Yeah.
apparently.
And they're just joking around
They're
about
just joking
it.
about it, yeah.
Ned, Todd, Stephen and the twins all pile into Ned's van.
And Alice, I think, as well.
No, Alice waits home by the phone in case
of course.
there's any news.
You're absolutely right.
So Ned demands that Jessica takes them to this deserted house.
Yeah,
and then she can explain herself.
Yeah, she confesses about the Secret Santas as well on the way.
And Todd is absolutely furious.
He is fuming, and Liz has noticed.
Stephen asks if she's responsible for all the other things that have happened to Suzanne.
Mm.
It's like, you fucking know she is, because you were originally in on the plan.
You were in on this, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Stephen's like backing out now. He's like, no, I never had anything to do with this.
You knew this was the plan all along from the start of the book.
Yep.
And she says she just wanted to protect her family from evil Suzanne.
Yeah.
Forest Lane's deserted and there's no sign of Suzanne. So Ned goes to a payphone to call the police. He explains to the family that Suzanne has MS. So we finally find out what's wrong with her.
Yeah, she needs constant medication. And if she's not careful, she could, one day even end up in a wheelchair, which causes Liz to gasp.
Yeah. There's no cure. She could be in remission for years, or she could deteriorate really quickly. Jessica is ashamed.
Yeah.
And then she looks at Todd and she realises she's seen him look like this before.
Yeah.
He looks exactly the same as he did on the night of Elizabeth's motorcycle crash.
I don't know how she knew how he looked at that time, because she was like unconscious on the floor.
Jessica?
Oh, sorry, Jessica noticed that. I thought you said Liz noticed that.
No.
I was like, how would Liz notice that?
No, Jessica notices.
Yeah.
And she realises what's going on. She realises he's in love with Suzanne.
She realized. Sorry, you're right. She realizes it's not all Suzanne. Todd clearly really does actually love her.
So Ned has spoken to the police, and the police tell him they've picked her up and she's in ER.
This is unbelievable. So apparently the police were too worried about Suzanne's condition to wait for an ambulance. So they picked up this woman who might have like back or neck injuries and chucked her into the back of a police squad car and drove her to the hospital.
The good news is, though, the Fiat Spider is barely scratched.
Yeah, Ned laughs
Thank
about
God
this.
for that. Yeah, he's like, oh, that's the good news, guys.
Brilliant.
I'm happy to hear it, to be honest.
And so am I. I
care more about that car than I do about Suzanne.
I care about that car a lot. I got in Double Jeopardy. I was really upset that they smashed up the spider.
Oh no, I know.
And here I was like, oh, thank God the car's all right. So I don't really care about Suzanne.
Fuck Suzanne.
But of course, as they're talking about this, Todd realizes that he's in love with Suzanne.
Just from this one encounter at this ski resort.
Yep. That just shows how shallow Todd is.
And he decides to tell Suzanne how he feels if she's still alive.
Yeah. So they get to the emergency room.
Alice is there. She's tried to call the Devlins at their hotel. I guess the police contacted Alice as well. So that's why she's there. She's tried to contact the Devlins at their hotel, but she's got no answer. And then Todd blows up at Jessica. He blames her for everything.
But Jessica retorts, saying that if it wasn't for Todd, Suzanne wouldn't even be here.
Yeah, and she brings up Killington.
Yeah.
The colour drains from Todd's face, and he says, "How did you know?"
Liz can't fucking believe it.
Yeah.
Jessica explains all about the phone call and that she overheard everything. And Todd finally, now that he's got no other choice, explains that it is true.
Yeah, Liz directly asked him if he'd seen Suzanne again before this week.
Yeah.
And he said, I was waiting for the right time to tell you.
But he does leave out the bit
The right time was initially when she said Suzanne is coming to visit.
Or the next time you were on the phone with Liz. Surely you've spoken to Liz on the phone since the ski lodge. Yeah. Any time after that would have been the time to do it. And he also leaves out the bit about being in love with her.
Yeah. But Liz has worked it out.
Of course. So Liz, Ned and Alice have managed to get hold of the Devlins now. They're apparently hysterical. And Dr. Ford approaches and tells them that, the only thing they can do to save Suzanne now is hopes and prayers and positive stories from Jessica Wakefield. No, she's fine, though. She's had a very lucky escape.
Yeah. Also, Suzanne's doctor from New York's on their way as well.
Yeah. I wouldn't trust the doctors in Sweet Valley, that's for sure.
I reckon she must have some fancy,
private,
like expensive
doctors.
doctor.
Yeah.
But apparently he's on his way because he knows all about her condition. And
Yeah.
so, the Sweet Valley Hospital doctor says, you can all go home and get some sleep. She's just got a slight concussion. She's fine. And Jessica says, it's only 11:15. We can still make the party.
I couldn't believe this. So they're all like, oh, I can't believe you'd go. Liz is like, oh, I can't believe you'd go to the party now. And Jess is like, well, it won't make any difference now. Suzanne's in hospital and she's going to recover. I can't believe that Ned doesn't ground her. He's like, after all you've done, no, it's fine. You go to the party. Don't worry about it.
Well, Stephen says if they drop by the party, they could explain to everyone about Suzanne and what's happened. So Liz agrees. And then Elizabeth thinks to herself that Suzanne deserves Todd. She's such a wonderful person.
Unbelievable.
Come on, oh my God.
Meanwhile, Ned, after all of this, says, well, I can drop you at the party, but I can't really be bothered to pick you back up, so you're going to have to make your own way back, guys.
Yeah, after someone in the family's just been in a car crash.
Don't worry about it. I'm going to go get pissed with the neighbours, so I'm not picking you up.
Todd and Liz are alone in a corner at the party, and Elizabeth admits that she was getting ready to tell him that she didn't think they were right for each other anymore. She loves him, but not romantically.
And what follows is the most ridiculous breakup I have ever read.
Yeah. Todd tells her, I was nearly being sick reading this.
This is unbelievable.
I was starting to heave. Todd tells her she's the most wonderful friend he's ever had. And she says to him, you have to decide how you feel about Suzanne. And whether his feelings are affected by what he'd just learned about her health.
Yeah.
Like, he'd be a bit of a prick if he was like, yeah, I was in love with her,
she's got a
but
disability.
she's got MS, so I don't want her anymore.
Yeah, unbelievable. Imagine if he said that.
I know.
But she says it like she's expecting him to be like, well, actually, I've changed my mind.
I know.
Now. Like, but no, of course, Todd's like, well, it is a bit of a shock, but no, still love her.
And he says it feels strange talking to Liz about another girl. And I think it is a bit soon, to be honest. They broke up like bizarre. 5 minutes ago.
It's like they broke up, and it's not even like, yeah, give me a couple of months and we'll talk and be fine, and we'll still be friends eventually. It's like, no, we're best friends now, it's fine.
And she tells him she's never been the jealous type. Yes, she has.
She literally has. Patsy.
Yeah.
For one.
She just wants him to be happy. And he says, we'll be best friends forever. And then the band start playing their song. And they have a slow dance together.
Which should be awkward, but apparently it's fine.
Yeah, this is literally the most unrealistic, sickening breakup ever.
Yep. Meanwhile, Jessica speaks to Mr. Collins, who picks up the microphone and tells everyone about Suzanne. He suggests, at Jessica's idea, that everyone do Secret Santas for Suzanne. But nice ones this time.
She had Secret Santas. She had Adam Winston.
Yeah, she did.
Was that not good enough? Oh, and Jessica also discovers that Winston was her Secret Santa.
Horrified.
And worse still, that Hans was Lila's.
Yes, because she sees Hans on the dance floor with Lila.
And then we get like a really soppy twin moment, which I didn't even write down.
Nope, nor did I.
But them saying, this is going to be the best Christmas ever.
Best Christmas of our lives.
I split up with my boyfriend 5 minutes ago.
And Jessica's got literally nothing that she wanted.
Yeah.
Everything's gone wrong for her.
This is going to be such a good Christmas.
Yeah.
We get to Saturday.
Like, Suzanne's in hospital now. We'll have a great Christmas. It's fine, guys. Christmas is saved.
Yeah.
This concussion will last at least until Boxing Day.
We get to Saturday. Liz, Todd and Enid are watching the parade.
And
so they broke up yesterday, and then, you know, they you think they at least have a few days space.
No, they were dancing with each other minutes after.
They're just at a parade the next day. Jessica's actually pulled it off.
Somehow, Jessica's out there wearing the crown and the dress.
Yeah, waving to everybody like a moron.
And where is Lila Fowler?
Grumpy Lila is 4 floats back wearing a trash bag.
Santa's got bad eyesight, so he didn't notice that it's not Jessica either.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Enid comments that Lila looks like a giant pea. We find out Suzanne has made good progress, but she's still in hospital. She's having some tests to find out if the new medication has worsened her condition.
Now, I know what you're about to go into, so I will preface this.
I'm not about to go into that yet.
Oh, go on.
So, firstly, we get a bit. Actually, no, I don't know what you were thinking. Actually,
No. You go on. I think you're right.
Firstly, we get another bit about Liz encouraging Todd to go for it with Suzanne.
Yeah.
And then we get her in her monologue. She thinks to herself how comfortable she is with this breakup. Like, she's protesting a bit much here.
She is.
She's constantly like, I'm so happy that Todd's with Suzanne.
I just
I
genuinely
really want Todd
wonder
to be
if she's
with
having a
Suzanne.
mental breakdown.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm fine with this. This is fine. This is totally fine.
You know when someone's like not fine.
And then
with
like
it.
2 weeks later, she'll be like a drunk.
Mm-hmm. And Jessica's worried that Suzanne won't forgive her, and Liz says, nobody can stay mad at you for long. She's the standard.
You don't know Lila Fowler.
Yeah, actually. And then later on, the twins go and visit Suzanne. Is this what you were going into?
Yes. So
yeah.
I will preface this because when you gave the book to me, you'd read it. Obviously, you read it before, but you reread it, and then you gave me the book, and you were like, you will not believe the end of this book. And I was like, oh, they're all going to make it up to Suzanne. They'll have a party and everyone will be happy. And you were like, well, that kind of happens, but you will not believe what happens at the end of this book. I had theories. Going through my head, and I was like, is Todd going to get with Suzanne? And I think I said to you last night, I was like, if Todd ends up getting with Suzanne, I'm going to be fuming. And when I finished the book today, you were right. Because this is so ridiculous. It didn't even occur to me that this would be something that would happen. So go on.
So, Suzanne sat up in bed looking radiant with Todd holding her hand, and Elizabeth doesn't even care.
No, they're together now. They're together now.
Like, she's even seeing them together, and she's just not bothered. And Suzanne says that Bruce Kit has been by, and he brought her a baby spruce tree, whatever that is.
I guess
sounds kind of cute.
Yeah, it sounds cute.
Winston's been in, and he's played games with her. And Aaron has invited her for lunch.
Right.
She better watch out for Patsy.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Ned and Alice arrive, and Alice's face is shining with joy. They've got some very good news.
Well, good news for her, probably bad news for the doctors.
Well, it doesn't seem like it is, though. That's the thing.
It definitely would be.
So
I guess they're rich anyway, but...
The hospital doctor comes in with Suzanne's doctor, Dr. Harrison. And Dr. Harrison asks Suzanne if she remembers when he asked her if she'd had a virus lately, and she'd said no. Well, it turns out she did have a virus.
So he's kind of blaming her for this.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you should have told me you had a virus.
And he says that's where all the mistakes began. Like, that's not what you want to hear from a doctor. That's where all the mistakes began.
All of the mistakes.
Yeah. So it turns out that she'd actually had mono, and it went undetected. And then how could you have mono and not know? It's a pretty. Like,
how can any of this happen?
Condition.
I mean, we have had some pretty bad practice from doctors in Sweet Valley books. This is the worst one yet.
Mm. So she'd had a complication from the mono, and guess what?
She doesn't have MS at all.
No.
They've been fucking her up with medication for 6 months, a year? I don't know.
So she's been taking really strong medication that she doesn't even need.
It's been making her dizzy, fainting. She could have died from the car crash she had. It's made her lose weight.
She's been thinking she might end up in a wheelchair.
Yep.
She's become a different person and gone to the Wakefields to apologise.
I was really hoping at the end of this book
now.
she was just like, I never would have been fucking nice to these people if I thought
Fuck
I wasn't.
You all.
Like, she's like, oh, I'm fine. Fuck off, Todd.
Yeah. But come on, Ned. Surely you should be
lawyer. I'd be like, I will represent you.
Yeah.
This is a fat paycheck
that's
for
a
both
win
of us.
Case, isn't it?
That's a definite easy win.
But nobody mentions that.
I mean, I know her family's loaded, but surely the principle of the thing, I'd be like, no, I'm definitely suing you.
This doctor should be struck off.
You've ruined my life. For
surely, I don't know this, but I'm imagining that MS diagnosis would require really extensive tests.
I would assume
like brain scans and stuff.
I would have thought it's not like...
I was like, you're feeling a bit tired and dizzy. Got MS.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry. It's either mono or MS, but let's just assume it's MS.
And Suzanne says, you mean I'm normal? Well,
I mean you are still a psycho bitch, but aside from that.
Then the Devlins come in, and they are followed by the entire swim team again.
In their trunks.
They're in t-shirts that when they fan themselves out across the hospital room, the t-shirts spell out "Merry Christmas, Suzanne." How fucking big is this hospital room?
Yeah.
Like, that's how many letters? 5? That's nearly 20 letters. I can't bother to count. And they're fanning themselves out in this hospital cubicle.
Oh boy.
And yeah, I preferred the message she got before.
Yes,
Go home, Suzanne.
Go home, Suzanne.
They should have just spelled that out. And then Bill starts playing the harmonica, and they all sing "Silent Night" again.
And then the droids turn up. They've written a song for her, and they start playing a song to her. No, that's how the book ends. So she wasn't ill the whole time. And arguably, Suzanne is just as big of a piece of shit she was before. And now that she knows she's well again, she'll just get back to her old ways.
Ridiculous.
But ridiculous as it was, this was my favourite
Sweet
Valley book so far. This was amazing. Like, we say sometimes, like, you know, you turn pages. Sometimes with twins, I can go like quite a few pages before I start making notes. This book is like every page there was something to write down. There was stuff going on constantly. It's surprising because you think like I kind of worry when it's like, oh, it's like a 250 page book. Is it going to be just full of filler? Like, are they just going to like pad it out? Not at all. This book is amazing.
The super editions are always great.
This is great.
So we hope you enjoyed that, and we hope you have a great Christmas.
Yes,
we're not done. Christmas. We're not done yet with our Christmas episodes.
Of course not.
We've got another one.
Yeah, this is part 1. Part 2 will be continued at Casey's Ice Cream Parlor.
Yeah, next week we'll be doing Holiday Mischief.
Yeah,
which neither of us have ever read. I've never read this one.
It's a lot of people's favourites, though.
Yeah, we've been told by some of you that it's your favourite book.
Yeah.
So, favourite Sweet Valley book. Mm-hmm. Favourite book ever.
Favourite book of all time.
Could be. So, we're really excited about it now.
We are indeed.
And we're actually going to start reading it tonight.
Yeah.
Our last episode we did of Kelly's was Head Over Heels. We had a couple of comments about that one. Claire PH couldn't help but laugh as Sky Morrow, urging people to donate to help others like Regina, privileged white kids who have a full advantage life.
She absolutely can't agree more.
Yeah, she's not really helping others like Regina, is she?
No. It's like when celebrities get ill and then they like suddenly start up a charity for the thing they were ill with. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just all self-serving.
Jodie Chard's a comment about Bruce on the cover. She says, "Look at that smirk on his face. A dirtbag can't ever fully get rid of all of his dirt."
100% agree.
Anyone who's read all of the books knows what's coming up in about 23 books.
I don't know what's coming up in 23 books.
Well, you'll find out in about a year.
In a year, yeah. We'll come back to this comment in a year.
Yeah. And she says, "Winston's so annoying sometimes. Why not pelt him with a plate of spaghetti and meatballs with extra red sauce? That she would pay to see."
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. And
yeah. Well, thank you for your comments, because I love it when we get the comments on the episode. I feel like we're going to get a few from this one.
Yeah, and our next Kelly's episode is going to be Showdown. We're going to find out about Jack the construction worker.
Jack the Ripper.
Jack O'Lantern. Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box. But
and
yes.
that will be next year. We're having a week's break. So our next Kelly's episode will be 3rd of January.
Yeah, so we'll be back with Kelly's on the 3rd of January, but of course, tune in next week for Casey's Ice Cream Parlor as we continue our Christmas specials.
Holiday Mischief.
Yes, can't wait.
Find us on Facebook at Kelly's Roadhouse Podcast and Instagram under Kelly's Roadhouse.
And thank you for listening, everybody.
Thanks for listening. Bye.